Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to What Radio. On the radio. You are listening to
Yo, it's an actual Monday night chop up on Monday night.
You kidding me?
Is it really?
Finally figured out that calendar thing.
Fucking A, he hired a guy.
Yeah, his name was Greg Orion. So welcome to the Rewind That Radio Monday night chop up, where we basically just make fun of each other and talk shit about everything. Three guys that don't know shit, middle-aged,
but try our best.
Currently three, usually four middle-aged men trying to live in a TikTok world.
And don't take any of our advice.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely not. We should put a warning on the bottom of the screen. Actually,
probably should drink 3 beers before you listen to anything we say.
That's what we do before we say it, anyway.
That's right. I mean,
go to a priest, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, they'll help.
Help all of us.
Look at this little moon background making my head look not as white as it normally.
Well, I told you that was a good one. During the pre, I was like, dude, that works for you because now it doesn't look as shiny.
Yeah, there you go. It's the new pit from the new Mortal Kombat game. I love it. I love that. I'm excited for that movie, dude. I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but
nah, man, keep going. It's good.
Fired up, bro. I watched it. When's it
come out?
December.
No, April. Say that, you bitch. No. I think it's April 16th or something. It's like a month after Snyder Cut. Look at this fuzzy screen. Look at this green screen's gangster. Like,
all right, dude. Well, you're gonna give me a seizure if it starts fucking flickering and shit. So,
see if I can edit it. Anyway, so what's up, man? How was the weekend, fellas?
It was good. I'm sure we'll get into it a little later, but had a couple guys over last night. Ordered up the AEW pay-per-view, pizza, wings, beer.
Whoa.
Should have been a good time.
I heard some things.
Yeah. It should have been a good time, but as Vince McMahon says, the only thing they're going to remember is the finish.
This is a lot of sexual innuendo in this opening line.
That was
we call that a teaser.
A teaser. Well, fuck it. We'll just get right
so did Big Vince.
So what up? AEW is, what's the name of it?
All Elite Wrestling.
And this is the one that Jericho started, right?
Yes.
Is he involved in it?
Well, he came on late. It was actually started by the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes.
Oh, those guys own it too?
Yeah. They're the executive vice presidents. The first show, All In, they self-funded. Sold out in like 3 minutes or something like that. And then they got Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jacksonville Jaguars football team. He's the guy that actually funds the whole thing now.
So the Young Bucks, as the independent, running around. I mean, some of us do know, and I randomly know just because of being associated with you guys, some people who they were in the independent things. But as they got into this, so they got associated, and are they part? Do they have a stake in the company, or is it kind of just?
I don't know how far their involvement goes. I know, like I said, they're EVPs. I don't know how much financially they're invested in it. I just know the majority of what set the groundwork for it came from. So
the pay-per-view that you watched last night, right? So I happened to catch it going through the TV last night. I actually texted Nick, and I texted a couple people. First of all, I saw Shaq coming out. So I was like, okay, Shaq's. I was like, is that fucking Shaq? I was like, it is. And then I kind of stuck with it, and then it led to, I believe it was last week actually. It led to an interview where it was Jericho and his tag team partner, right? They had just beaten up the Young Bucks' dad, if I'm correct. Right? Okay, no, again, Matt, you got to hold me on this because this is me just flipping last week.
I got you. I'll fill in the gaps.
So I got nothing there. So I saw the Young Bucks come out, and they had just, I guess, Jericho and his tag team partner. I like the tag team partner, Jericho. What is his name? He's got three initials, right? I think MJF. Yes, there you go. I like that fella. He was playing it good. And Nick, I mean, it was like they were doing this interview in the ring. This is last Wednesday, I believe. And they're doing this interview in the ring. It's pretty cool. And Barstool's there. They bring up Tony Schiavone's the host. Eric Bischoff is interviewing him, and I'm thinking this is cool, right? It's I swear to God, Eric Bischoff. Like, yeah, I swear to God.
I might have to start watching this.
Yeah, dude. So then I'm watching it, and I guess they flash back to where, like, they beat up the Young Bucks' dad last week, and the Young Bucks come out, they do some crazy stuff. So it kind of got me hooked into watching what's going on. And then Matt earlier today had texted that he got the pay-per-view that this led into, and I guess there was a lot supposed to be going on. Like, Big Show was there and stuff, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of promotion heading into this thing. It's not their biggest pay-per-view of the year. That's in a couple months, but it was probably their second biggest one. It's the one they're known for. This one started everything. It's basically the second anniversary of their first ever show. They build up the whole card. It's a solid card, top to bottom, but the whole event is sold on the exploding barbed wire death match, something that hasn't been seen in 20 years. Yeah. So the whole card is built towards that. Starts low, goes high, exactly how you want a show to go. And like I referenced in the introduction, all you're going to remember is the finish. They go through the whole show, barbed wire bumps, explosions, all that stuff. Now there's a rule in the match. After 30 minutes, every explosion goes off.
Like randomly?
Yes. Every explosion that's wired after 30 minutes, there's a countdown, everything blows. And they build it as whoever survives wins.
Well, Nick's got to pause.
Yes, go ahead.
Before you say anything, I have the clip. So tell the rest of the story, and when you're ready, I'll play the big finish.
Okay. So the match, it's very physical, blood, all the stuff that you miss from the Attitude Era of wrestling. Everything that the TV PG era is missing. So it's a 90s wrestling fan dream. Run through the whole match, big bumps, like I said, all over the place. Match ends with about 2 minutes to go on the timer. Great bump to end the match. And then the countdown starts. Everyone from Kenny Omega's group jumps John Moxley, who's in the ring. Handcuff him, trap him in the ring. Everyone leaves. Countdown starts going. 3, 2,
okay.
1. And then hits.
I got it from 11.
Okay, so I jumped the gun a little bit.
Nick, don't play it yet, though. So, Matt, at this point, you're watching this live, right?
Watching
so
it
you're
live,
thinking this is going to be like a badass thing, right? Because to be honest, I have seen this already, like on the clips. But you're thinking it's going to be huge, right?
I shelled out $60 for this pay-per-view based on basically just this last 10 seconds of the match. Expecting this to be the conclusion of the match. Go ahead, hit play. We'll see what happens.
See if I can figure it out.
Dude, I'm not even walking out of the tunnel. If I'm a football player in high school, I'm not even walking out of the tunnel if that happens.
Listen to the crowd.
Now can we see what the reactions are of the actual performers? Because they got to be surprised, right? Because they thought like an explosion was happening, or no?
Okay, so I left a part out. Okay. One of the current foes of John Moxley comes out. Let's be honest. Yes, we'll call it Dean Ambrose. That's what people are going to remember him most by. But one of the current feuds that he's having is one of his former best friends. I won't go into the whole lore behind it. But this guy runs in at the very end, and he jumps on Moxley to protect him. So that shit goes off, and they have to pretend that this explosion knocked them both out. So he is laying on him for a solid 2 minutes, nobody moving. Paramedics have to come in after that explosion, and they're tending to these guys like they just went through, like it was goddamn D-Day. Oh my God!
I wish your brother was on this. Can your brother call in? I'd like to know.
I guarantee he didn't watch it, but if you show him that again,
no, I'd like to. Can he call in and we show him this? Because that's fucking ridiculous. We don't gotta. Nobody's jacking our.
Want to talk? Shit.
No, obviously not. But Nick, look at that.
He's been trying to get with them.
But look at that though, bro. Like that's.
I'm trying to find a clip here.
But like Matt just said right there. So after those like sprinklers went off, so to speak. Did you just say they had to lay there for 2 minutes?
Yes, they lay there for a solid 2 minutes. Just like laying on top of them. Right, like they were dead. Like they went through.
He got blown up. Right.
Yep.
Well, because like I said, the only reason I kind of knew about this is because I'd be watching some of the games and then it would lead into this. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's AEW. And like, I love who doesn't ever not stop watching wrestling? Let's be honest, everybody. This is bullshit. It's like, no, it's not. It's like a Jericho. I'll watch it, But it led into this stuff, and then it cut to the John Moxley thing, where I saw where he was like building his gym, and then it cut to like the old school, like I said, like the Japanese, like the wrestling they would do in NJWA, like actual bombs going off. They're showing certain things where dudes are actually getting caught, like real stuff. And then I'm like, all right, dude, you set up a sprinkler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I want to do that around me. Trust me. I mean, I'll get in a fight, which I don't want to get in a fight with anybody, but I don't want to. No, I don't want to fire around me.
Yeah. You would think they'd do something where like the ring like collapse. I don't know. They would do something.
Yeah, like wasn't that the plan though? Like you were saying that there was supposed to be like a big.
Well, that's the question now, because Tony Khan went on for a podcast right after the show.
And he's got money.
After-show review. Yeah, he's got money.
No, not again. Clarify who that is to Nick.
Now, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars, the professional football team.
Okay.
It's the owner's son. So,
we're talking Saudi Arabia money.
This guy's got a ton of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a plan in place where this should have been better. Now, the question is,
like stealing
shit. Was it botched? Did stuff not go off that was supposed to? Now, going into the post-show interview, like I was saying, Tony Khan says everything went off the way it was supposed to, and he played it off as, we have to protect our guys. We can't have huge explosions. And it sounds like they're going to play it off as if Kenny Omega, who was the other participant in the match, screwed it up.
Okay.
And I think that's weak sauce myself.
Like storyline? That's a terrible
storyline,
in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly. You're
a guy who doesn't
stuck
follow
between
wrestling that much, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, when that stuff doesn't go off, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's a very difficult sell from that point on. So
it's a good
very
cover
interested.
If he does it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they try to go with this come Wednesday.
So there was a couple other things with that show, though, right? As I was following it online, I was asking you about it because, like I said, I don't really, follow it that much, but I get the pop-ups the next day and stuff. So the AEW is, I guess, I don't want to say poaching wrestlers. I guess you can't say that as because the wrestlers are free agents technically, right? So I got from the same show I watched last week was I believe Big Show came out, right? And he said he had a big announcement. And then who came out last night as his announcement?
That would be Christian, if anyone. Yes, if anyone followed the '90s Attitude Era, that's Edge's storyline brother.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like that dude. Now, Nick, you're shaking your head there. I want to know why you're shaking your head, brother.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier when we were talking. It's like
no, that's fine. Just say you got to say it on here though.
You mentioned there that Sting is back too, and it's like like these the next.
You gotta say it, brother.
Bro, they're gonna start filming these dudes playing pinochle in the old folks' home, and fucking Razor Ramon's gonna come in a fucking wheelchair and jump through a table or something. Like what? Just chill, man. We don't get out of the ring. We don't need to see Christian.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that right there, and I think I'm on your side, Nick. I agree with the craft that they've done. I respect the work they've done. Yeah, you don't gotta do it for me anymore, brother. I'll shake your hand.
But this is the fundamental problem with professional wrestling. These guys have to go for this long. They don't have health insurance. They don't have, these guys are basically called independent contractors. If anyone's not familiar with an independent contractor is, supposedly they're allowed to do whatever they want. They're independent. They go in, it's basically a gig worker. The problem is, because these guys are under contract. That stuff doesn't jive. You can't be an independent contractor and not be allowed to work somewhere else.
Great.
So it's these legal issues that are above our pay grades that need to be
English. You're breaking down the Webster's definition of independent contractor and trying to make some.
But doesn't that go across the board though, right?
No, I mean,
it should.
I'm an independent contractor, but I still have to hang my license.
Correct, right? Well, there you go.
Someone that's insured. So you can only really work for one person at a time. I mean, you can work for multiple companies if you have like you don't have a non-compete or something. But like I do real estate. I can't work for two real estate companies at once because they're taking on my liability.
Well, that would also fuck you up too, wouldn't it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, it basically, your insurance goes through the head company. So not insurance like health insurance, like insurance in case I.
No, I understand. Some shit happens to that. Yeah, I understand.
Let me explain it to the people, John.
Okay.
So if my insurance with them is if I fuck something up in the field. So it's kind of like if I ruin someone's deal and they get sued for $100,000, it has to have a company that's insured to cover it. So I would imagine it's the same with wrestlers. Like if they get hurt on the job, you can't be working for two companies. You're misrepresenting the company or whatever. So yeah, the independent contractor thing, it's kind of a response to unions. It's like, well, we're not going to have unions. You can do this, but the problem with it is you have to get your own health insurance. You have to pay into your own 401k. You have to any kind of investments, like your own taxes. You have to do it all yourself. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
But can I ask you? But I mean, not to play devil's advocate here, but I mean, just as we just as a conversation right there. So if it doesn't have to be a wrestler, it can be X, Y, and Z, whatever of an equation.
Right.
So like, if say Vince owns the company, whatever X, right, and he's willing to pay you X, Y to do this job, and you do good, and he keeps paying you more, right? But then if you get hurt, then you can't perform as you did before. Again, I'm obviously setting up something later. You can pick it up, that. But like if you can't perform that way anymore, well, he's not going to pay you that way anymore because the contract doesn't say that, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with this a little bit? But no, in the beginning is what I'm saying. Like,
well, it's not like football, which we have stuff to talk about with that too.
No,
where you get a guarantee. That's the
other thing. No, that's the other thing. You're thinking about that. Only certain people get that guarantee. Nick.
Well, there's
no sports. Only certain people get that.
Right.
Like even in wrestling, right there, like certain people get a guarantee. Like The Rock and them, they got their thing back from Vince, right? That thing, like you can say this.
Basically, how in wrestling works is called a downside guarantee.
Okay.
So you're guaranteed this minimum, but
right,
you can go above and beyond that.
But who's not going to take? Well,
exactly. Like Steve Austin's downside guarantee in '97 was like $500,000. He made.
But that's not.
million.
But again, if you want to, and I'm not going to get crazy on here, raunchy, but that's a downside guarantee of something else. Let's be honest.
Right, and I mean, there's blame on both sides. These guys aren't getting tricked into signing these contracts. They know
Vince McMahon's a pimp. When you start, Vince McMahon's your pimp. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they know what they're getting into. If they're not putting the money aside,
that's where I was
hard on it. Ric Flair made $1 million a year and found a way to spend $3 million. So I mean,
that's his fault, right?
Exactly.
But like these guys,
let's bring in somewhat of an expert.
Who's that now?
Oh boy,
yes, we got him in here. Hey, Greg, I said, hey, bro. I was like, dude, I want him. Yeah. What's up, Greg?
Could you put a light on your face, maybe? You have
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No.
Bro, I said, I was like, we got to get a guy in here. I want him called in. You got me?
Guess that'll work.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, nice. Yeah. I was like, dude, I wanted to ask a question, and then because we were talking about the
I'm just trying to
AEW.
find a spot to be able to see.
Well, we wanted your opinion because we were talking about. Maddie got to AEW last night, and I had read about it. And I wanted your opinion on the whole thing and the whole we want somebody in the industry.
This is not planned, by the way.
No, this is right off the cuff. This is
the Ghostbusters shirt.
No, I saw you wearing it, so I had to put mine on because it was funny to me.
Nice, I like it.
You're like the evil version of me. Yeah.
So, Greg, were you listening?
I heard a little bit of it, but I didn't catch.
All right, so Maddie got the AEW pay-per-view last night, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw it. I read about it. I guess there was a botch. Yeah, they botched it at the end where it was supposed to be like this big blow-up. It was nothing. Yeah, imagine that. And I wanted an opinion of a person who's been in the business for a while. They're bringing in hell yeah, you brother. And they bring in people that from the WWE that they say are disrespected or whatever. And then you're just to get opinions on like the industry, and then some certain people get deals. What do you think? Just go with it.
What, you mean like the hype too that they were all hyped up about, or like how the ring botched, or what do you mean? Like what's your?
Did you think? I mean, obviously it was a botch, right? Maddie, you want to go?
Yeah, I think we're just kind of looking as far as someone who's in the business. What your thoughts on how it all played out is, from the promotion to how the actual finish
they had the
is.
old school Japanese stuff.
The entire match itself. Well, I mean, like, there's the fans who were just so butthurt about everything. Like, one fan was like, "Oh, they're still alive." Boo! Like, what did you? What did you expect them to do? Like, I looked at it as like a like the Inferno match from back in the day. Whenever there was a big bump, the guy in the back's like, all right, and it hit the.
Well, yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think that's what they were kind of going.
So, like, it was cool that they threw the bombs in here and there.
But no, we're talking about this part right here. Like, well, Matt right here, Nick, don't play it yet. Well, Matt brought up the fact that this is the botch, right? And I'm sure. Have you seen this yet, Greg?
Yeah,
but they said now right here, right? They botch it, right?
I've watched the version with Celine Dion put into it.
No, hold on, Greg, right here. Now they're saying that like for 2 minutes he had to lay on him like that and act like nothing happened.
It was 2 minutes.
Watch the countdown and go. Just watch.
This is the nuclear bomb that they promised,
bro. You look at it. And then for 2 minutes, I guess Matt said, like, you watch it, he laid on him, like, trying to protect him.
Yeah, the pay-per-view feed was a solid 2 minutes after this before it actually ended.
I wanted your reaction.
Eddie Kingston is just laying
I was like,
across
Nick,
him.
pull your brother.
I know there was a lot of people who were like, yo, it made Eddie.
No, you don't got to talk shit either.
It made Eddie look so stupid, like, blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, shit happens. What are you going to do? They covered it up. They grabbed the microphone and was like, that's all you got? I've seen bigger explosions on ridiculousness. You fucking suck.
The problem with that is it's not on the pay-per-view feed. So people are leaving this show having that be the last thing they see, and it cancels out everything else they did on the show. The match was solid. The pay-per-view, the card, top to bottom, was a solid card. That's what people are going to remember.
And, yeah, because, all they care about is the finish. But it's just a simple way to fix it. Somebody posted it was a pretty good idea of just having like a camera in the back and just show like pregnant ass Renee Young just go and cut a wire. And that's why the ring didn't break. I thought they should have just had it like have a big boom and then do what they do in Big Show and does a suplex. Oh, and the whole ring just breaks. Just have it like that. Right. Boom. Whole ring collapse.
And that could lead us into our next conversation.
Well,
the shit just went like this. Oh, the ring's on fire.
Well, they could have done that. I'll play devil's advocate. It was like, what did people expect? Did they expect you're going to walk into fucking AEW and they're going to murder their...
Well, as Greg just let in with that, he's like, what did you expect? One of them to die?
And I'll play devil's advocate to that. AEW built it up for way more than what it was, which is fine. You're trying to sell pay-per-views. I get it, but you're also setting that customer expectation.
Yeah, but what age range of, like, okay, I get that part. Like, well, what of understanding where he's building this thing, yes, and like I said, they're using like the Japan era, and they're showing that where they're on all the old stuff and whatnot, but it's like, what age range are they going for right here? You know what I mean? Or like, are they gonna let that expire?
I think that the ring not doing what they wanted it to do is gonna be better for them in the long run.
Oh,
because
there's a hot take.
I just got done watching The Dark Knight because I was gonna go to the gym. But so when Joker comes out and he's playing with the thing, it doesn't blow up. Boom, there's a meme. Now people are gonna be. I'm about to make it right now. I got credit on that. You saw it right here. You saw it here first. And like
mine now.
So it's like that's gonna be talked about. It's gonna be something for a long time. I've already, like I said, the Celine Dion one. They showed Eddie Kingston go on him, and then it was like, yo. Here, and no explosion, and it was just like, okay. Well, then like everything on Twitter right now is like, oh, what you tell, and it showed like a big explosion about something was like the game you spit, and then it said the game you actually bring, and it was like,
yeah.
But now they can do so much story wise, like like I said, Renee was in the back, she cut it. Or, the ring didn't break. Or now just in a random Wednesday, the fucking ring explodes. And now it's like, yo, the ring just blew up.
All right, can I answer about that real quick, though, Greg? Like, so I'm like, Nick, you want to go?
No, that's like creative. That's creative. They should hire you, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Creative-wise, that's what I'm saying. That's what it works. I just need something, and I don't know, Maddie, I want you to, because I'm throwing it out here to you, too, because, I mean, I don't want to, again, a negative Nancy here. But I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'll roll with that whole thing. As a 37, turning 38-year-old man, you tell me that's effective. You tell me that storyline, I'll roll with it. You know what I mean? Because you know what you're getting into as you're watching this. I appreciate the performers. I love it. That's what I'm saying. That's what you're investing into. But all of a sudden, like that's why, like I think Matt, that's why you paid $60 for it last night because you were involved in every performer there, which is why we love you, Greg. Like stuff like that, like involved. And then it was just like they kind of missed their mark, and it was just like, oh, you know.
There's an inherent sense of what's the term? You know, disbelief that you have to embrace.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Exactly. You know, you embrace that as a fan, and then something like that comes around. It's like, how do you explain this to someone else?
Well, Greg
Right.
Fox Vineyard just gave you five ways.
Oh no, it's awesome. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think having his girlfriend cut the wire in the back, that's inspired thinking. Like they're probably not.
No, Maddie. I'm sorry, Nick. I don't want to cut you off.
Worse than that.
But like what I think Matt might have been going with there is like, how do I explain this to a person who doesn't understand like wrestling or want to go into the business and be like, this just happened, like somebody that I would say like a naysayer, and they go like, oh, they missed that spot right there. It's like, yeah, but like this is what happened, and like and be involved in this, and then this storyline goes like this, and they just give me the middle finger. It's just like, all right.
Well, it's a two things. Like it's one of how do you get somebody to watch wrestling who's never watched it? Like, what's the match you showed?
That's what I'm saying, brother.
And if that's the first thing you see, like how all the NBA people were attacking Jericho because like he just happened to come on TV, like, yo, Chris Jericho's still wrestling, he's fat as shit. And I'm like, I'm just getting into Jericho shape. Like,
this is why I wanted him on TV, because I went with Jericho. I'm like, call your brother.
But like, think of it if you're how you're coming at it as like I want to really wrestle, I want to get into business. Oh, this shit just happened, man. It's a dud, man. However, now you have to think like how you always get told out there. We get one take. Like if we're live, we go. One take of ropes. Like I was in a match. I did an iPay-per-view. Kind of same scenario of what AEW was doing. It was iPay-per-view in Tennessee. This shit was hyped up. Like Jim Ross was tweeting about it. Like it had Jim Ross tweeting on the card was like Tracy Smothers, Tommy Dreamer, Jim Cornette, all these fucking people. Match number 1 in the pre-show with 2 Herbs. The ring breaks. I don't mean like, oh, the rope snap. I mean like that shit fell.
Best part is you just used the upstate New York 2 Herbs.
So then we built the ring back up, and like we had 200. I think there was like 400 people in person watching it. Like the ring broke 3 times, 4 times, and Jim Cornette was backstage. What the fuck, Jim Cornette? What the fuck is this? I'm out of here. He took off, and by the time my match came on for the NWA National Championship or whatever it was, we were told don't touch the rope, or the ring will fall. So. Oh, as a performer, live performer, we worked around it. We didn't do any Irish whips or nothing. There was no corners you could hit, but no off the rope. So we worked around it. And then Tommy Dreamer came out in the hardcore match for the main event and was like, hey, let's break the fucking ring.
Yeah, like, this shit happens, like you're saying, in the live performances. I remember we all went to it when Fox here performed up near where we live, and they pitched this thing as Kevin Nash, or it was a him or Flair, one of the two. Ric Flair's wrestling tonight, Ric Flair, and they sold the tickets on. All he did is walk out to the ring and do a 60-second spot and leave, and everyone was like,
"Yeah, no, the Honky Tonk Man was in there." So was Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash turned around and gave us the thing as we harassed him for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it happened.
We got to fight that night. I think we got to fight.
As a wrestling fan, you know to expect like, hey, some shit. They're gonna blow stuff up. It might not work. AEW has a hell of a lot of money, but not a lot of their production's not there yet. They don't. There's not a guy who's been sitting there for 25 years with Vince McMahon blowing shit up.
Right.
Like look at everything that's blown up on WWE. Vince McMahon's limo blew up. Everything with Stone Cold, like they have a different. They
have a full
crew for lack of better term. But AEW's 2 years in, if almost 2 years, if that right.
Yeah, I believe it was a 2-year anniversary. Yeah, and Khan had actually put up his business model, and they were crushing it. Yes, he put up his Nick. It's pretty good actually. If you look at his like the stock and stuff like that, like the 2-year range is like a lot higher.
So you've been a company for 2 years competing with the machine that is WWE, and just because you had a little explosion, that's not going to kill it. They're gonna be like, oh,
and they had to
and
put
then-
it against. And well, if I were, I'm sorry I cut you off there, Craig. And I wanted to ask you this question. So AEW, I believe, had put out their show first on Wednesday night, and then I believe WWE, if I'm correct, man, you can. If I'm not, please hop in here, guys. Give me your opinion on this. I believe that they actually they created a show or moved the next to WWE to compete against it.
It was an online.
In your guys' opinion, as wrestling aficionados outside of myself, would that mean they were like nervous at least, or?
I don't know if it's nervous as much as getting ahead of it.
They're always talk that
kill the curiosity factor.
But yeah, exactly.
That's just Vince's asshole. That's all that is.
Yeah,
it's oh, watch this. I could beat him with my third brand, my development plan. Now they lost every single week for how long have they been competing for? Now NXT's moving to Tuesdays.
There you go. So they won, yeah.
I mean, you can say it's a victory, but they're moving because USA now Peacock, which is buying everything. They're going to own NBC is going to own the WWE soon. I guarantee it, because the network is done. You have to now buy Peacock to go through the network. None of the shit that's on the network is going to be available till August, except for WrestleManias. And it's like, you just lost my business. I ain't paying you $20 to watch The Office. You know.
But going back to Vince McMahon moving NXT to compete with
I would like the
AEW.
business side.
This is the same Vince McMahon that I think it was Starrcade when that first started. He told the cable companies, if you carry Starrcade, you can't carry WrestleMania. So he's always been get ahead of it, kill that curiosity factor before it starts, and keep people once you got them.
And that's been forever. Even wherever there's a wrestling show running, WWE will run that same town, no matter what.
Really?
Like, yeah, especially during, well, I can't say WrestleMania weekend because everyone's going to WrestleMania. But like, there was times where like, was like Impact or something was running, and they're like, "Oh, you are NXT. We're actually going to go into Orlando, your town, and do this. We're going to do this." And they're like, "What was the one they did? I think they did do Starrcade like last year, right? It was the same day as like AEW pay-per-view or something." And they're like, "Oh, we'll put Starrcade," and they didn't even televise it. It was just like do a house show called Starrcade, and we'll make it run in the same town as you.
And then when someone tries to do it to them, he gets it shut down. Like when Ring of Honor books Madison Square Garden, and he does everything in his power to shut that down.
Yeah, like they booked, like that New Japan show they did like what, a year and a half ago. Vince tried to shut that down, or whatever. And you gotta grab your competition by the throat. And like,
but at this point, doesn't he have money to chill? Just let other people make some money. Like he's gonna be dead at any minute.
Well, Vince McMahon doesn't sleep. He doesn't. Nobody can. Everything has to go through him. That's why the WWE is kind of shitty right now, because he's like, no, this will definitely be a good thing. Nope. Like everyone that gets called up that Triple H has been spending so much time building at NXT, they go to Raw and it's like you're just a normal dude now. Like Keith Lee, who was on the independent scene, 6'3", 275 pounds, backflipping all over the place.
The huge black guy, right?
Yeah, just wears
crazy
trunks.
athlete.
Right. Just wears trunks or like shorts, like biker shorts.
No gimmick, Nick. I mean, just backflips.
Just killing people. Boom, boom, boom. Gets shipped up to Raw. He was in the Royal Rumble and had a face-to-face. Brock Lesnar was like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, legit on camera. Boom, they had a huge moment. Bam, brought him up to Monday Night Raw. First thing you see next week, they change his music. They put him in a fucking thing to cover his body up.
Put him in a goddamn moo-moo.
Yeah, just looks like he wasn't. Like, Greg, would you say he's not? Well, he's not jacked. He's fat.
And
but like, what would you call him? Like mass? Like he's not. Like that's a mass. He looks like an offensive line from Alabama. I'm not fucking with that guy.
He spent 15 years tacking on mass.
But he's doing backflips.
He's huge.
Like he's not cut off. I think. Can I ask a question here? Like, as guys, and Nick, you guys all go back to this. Like, so if we're gonna stick on this wrestling thing, it's that. Like, is it a physique thing? Like, say with Greg, you're a huge dude, man. Like, you're jacked up. I think you're jacked, bro. Like, so, but people won't call you. Like, I have mass, but they'll call you jacked. But people won't call you what they call rocked up, meaning like you don't have like these 12-pack abs and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter if you can do a backflip and whoop somebody's ass.
Those are called like Brian Cage.
Yes, I know exactly.
Brian Cage can do everything. Backflips, all this shit. but his look, you just look at him like, yeah, like Bobby Lashley. They are called body guys. Like, oh, that's a body guy.
Oh, Bobby Lashley, real wrestler though.
Right, but I'm saying but like you look at him and you're like, yo, he is a body guy. But then you got Keith Lee, who's completely opposite of Bobby Lashley.
He just doesn't have that. Yeah.
And you would watch him crush him because you're like, shit, he's a big motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean?
Like he's got kind of like Mantis, Nick, essentially. Like, but I mean, straight up backflip stuff like this. A big guy, strong.
Yeah, running and jumping over the top rope to the outside, like he's incredible.
The way it was
But
always,
Vince didn't put him on because of that look.
He's not Vince's type of. Vince likes the big, like, look at everyone that was before '97.
Well, I think that's always what's been known, though, right? Is that cut up thing, or like it took him a while to get even a guy like, I don't want to bring this in there, but like a guy like say Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, because they were smaller but technical. It was like a
right.
Bruce Pritchard probably describes it the best on his podcast. Vince is looking for guys that are going to turn heads in the airport.
Right. That's exactly what I was about to say. The airport.
We used to call him, yes, even on football teams, we used to call him like the first off the bus. Right. Like, we'll let you walk out there, and like, yeah, you guys have those, but like, yeah, on the practice field, you're not even starting, bro. But we're breaking your shit on the practice field. But yeah, you got the muscles.
But like the airport test is like if you're sitting in the airport and you see somebody walk by and it's like that guy has to do something.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like that. Like you see a big dude. Anyone I see with long hair and a ponytail, I'm like, oh, he must wrestle.
Or he's in a band.
Yeah.
He's in the Skid Row band.
Like when I was delivering produce a bunch of times, people always ask me, like, "Hey man, you do something?" I said, "Well,
to be fair, though,
do it." You know what I mean?
As like I've seen you, when you're delivering produce, I would ask you if you got to do something else outside of this.
Yeah, they always said, "You fight? You a fighter?" I said,
"I guarantee they said that." Yes.
At IHOP, yo, you a fighter, man? No.
I'm just some guy.
I'm a lover.
Can I get some flapjacks?
Yeah. I was like, I wrestle. Like, yo, I knew you fucking did something, you big dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. I need the number 2.
Yeah, can I sign this paper, please?
Yeah, right. That's it.
But yeah, like, I don't think it's gonna hurt him. I think AEW is gonna be huge. The one biggest letdown everyone's talking about is Christian Cage being the.
I was gonna say that's what we were bringing up too. Because I didn't see it, but I read about it. But I guess the Big Show was a commentator, and he was going to break a big thing, and Christian came in. Now he's known as Christian Cage, Nick. Yep, same Christian as from Christian and Edge. Look at Nick's face.
Well, he was Christian Cage in TNA. So years ago, what was it 2007 or whatever? He left WWE, went to TNA, and he did his own shit, became Christian Cage, did the Captain Charisma shit, looking like this. Became the NWA heavyweight champion, built huge stock in himself, became awesome, had awesome matches and everything. Like oh shit, Christian can actually be.
Oh, he's athletic as hell, yeah.
And like he was good, and then he got back. Then he went back to WWE and was like, you just sit on the back. So
I thought Edge was great in Vikings.
Edge was in Vikings.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the last.
You guys, you're gonna jump all 3 and went fucking. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was really good.
But I'll have to watch that show.
I thought it was going to be Brock because WWE pulled all his merch off the website and everything.
Now, is that because of contract he has? Because doesn't he have some kind of cunty contract too?
He's not contracted right now, I don't think, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think he is right now.
Because he was going to Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know last I read like a report that saying was like Brock doesn't want to be in the title picture anymore. He just wants to be a babyface and put over other talent and have matches he wants. Like
Brock Lesnar said that?
Yeah, because like he requested to wrestle like guys like Daniel Bryan a few years ago, and
he's putting over Daniel Bryan.
A few years ago, it was him and Daniel Bryan wrestling, and you're like, oh, and he was killing Daniel Bryan, suplex, and then out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan came back and just beat the fuck out of him for the next 8 minutes?
Wow.
And then he requested Samoa Joe, and they had a fucking good program. And he's like. But then Vince is like, nope, get in there and suplex.
This is good. This is good that you're on here real quick because I want to ask you a question here. I was reading a thing, and again, I'm not as up to speed on like recent stuff, but I had read a thing that said who had the worst. It was like a weird little thing. Who had the worst like experience coming up to the main show from Next, I believe it was, and they had launched, had a couple pictures. Some people I looked at, like I kind of recognized. It was like, but then they had Samoa Joe on there. Did he do bad on the main card? Like when he was up there?
He wasn't used to his potential.
Right? Yeah, they didn't use him.
Because I mean, they had a bunch of wrestlers. Some I didn't
That's what
recognize.
they always do.
Like,
They don't. Sometimes they don't use. Like Shinsuke Nakamura came into NXT.
he was one of them. Yeah, he was on there.
He was the biggest thing in the world that was not WWE. Came over to WWE, became huge, amazing, got up to the main card. Vince is like, "You don't speak English? Nope."
Yeah,
Because you
people.
can't connect with
Like,
the audience if you don't speak them.
So he was on there. Rick Rude's kid, Bobby Roode, was he not good?
Nah, he's not his kid. But
Well, I was going to say, no, I'm
name.
saying they showed these people, and they're like, who was great in whatever the lower sucker one, and like not as good.
But that's the difference between
I thought
Triple
Samoa
H.
Joe was like the guy for a while, and then different, like, was it TNA or something like that? He was like the guy, like feared or
He
something.
was amazing. Came over, got a new gimmick of Glorious, which was amazing for about.
So so basically, we're on this rotund thing of them breaking them down and just making them suck.
They come to NXT and Triple H lets them do whatever they want and become amazing. They get called up and Vince is like,
And Vince crushes them. All right, so we're on that. So it's been happening since like 1983. All right, then.
right. If Vince didn't create you, like he's not going to push you.
All right, Nick,
Like,
what
look
you got from the end? So you're up there just like giving your eyebrows at us.
I'm just listening. I don't know any of this shit.
Nah, neither do I.
I'm the second listener on the podcast right now. There's
I'm just riffing, bro. I'm just riffing, brother.
one on Rewind. Rewind.
I mean, I really haven't watched wrestling in over like
Same.
6 months.
I was just
I
going.
watched the Rumble because I'm never around to watch. I'm an actor. Although I did get an email asking or saying that they will watch some recent footage if I had any, and I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, WWE. Now's a good time to look at myself. I don't have, but.
What, the WWE hit you up?
Well, I messaged the dude, Gabe, the guy who created ECW, Gabe Sapolsky, because I was on his prospect list last year or the year before, and then COVID happened, all that shit, and then I just messaged him like, hey, any updates? What's happening in the world? He's like, we're not doing anything right now, but if you have anything recent, you want to send it. Because the last thing he said to me was like, yo, everything's good, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that. Okay, use me. Oh, well, COVID happened. No, okay, cool, thanks. But now NXT has their now that the NXT was the development of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and all that, but now it's so big they're giving NXT its own show and its own development shit called NXT Evolve, which is an independent company that WWE bought that was run by Gabe Sapolsky. Yeah, motherfucker.
Fun.
Third.
So when do you think you'll be able to start wrestling again? Do you have a show coming up or what?
I got a match in at the end of the month. At the 27th. I don't know who I'm working with.
I love he said who he's working. Matt, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to talk to Greg. I was saying,
He's got you. He can hear you.
He was DMing with Shivani,
Got my
a
new
while
gear
back,
today,
right?
though.
Fancy.
Greg, you hear that?
Nope. I'm trying to show my Chase Catch Collect gear. And my band logo that's now being distributed because I signed up for stuff to distribute my music to everything.
Now, you were DMing with Shivani a while back, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I told him, I was like, hey man, like I appreciate you like helping me fall asleep when I was a kid and always hearing your voice and everything. And I was like, yo, you rocked wrestling, blah blah. And he's like, thank you, appreciate it. And I was like, hey, if I ever meet you, touch your dick.
Well, AEW's got that second show now. That's developmental.
Yeah, I messaged. I'm in like one of their like QT Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've known him forever. He did a tryout match with me at Ring of Honor in one of the camps, and he was like, "I'll do whatever you want. Just let's get you over." Okay, cool. Yippee you. And so I messaged him and I was like, "Hey man, like over and over and over, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, we're not bringing anybody in because of COVID, this and that." And then I messaged, "Hey man, I know that COVID's a problem, but like, I'm seeing everybody come in there, like, literally every single person. Like, I think I saw
Like ever? You seen every person ever walked in there?
Yeah,
That's fucking
so.
crazy. I just stay awake.
I think I saw you wrestling on there before me.
Motherfucking hey, I might have been there. Shit, if you seen everybody.
And then so he messaged me back and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna look into it and send you give them your information and stuff like this." However, just know you're not gonna be able to paint your face. So I'll be a fucking sandwich, dude. I don't care. Just put me on the fucking thing and let me show you what I
paint your face. Is interesting.
Because I like Sting, Darby Allin,
Darby, yeah.
every motherfucker there is painting their face.
Can I ask a question? Would that mean like they thought you were stealing their gimmick because you were painting your face?
No, it's just like if I came in to do like the AEW Dark, which is like their YouTube show that they put over there.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right.
And then it's like, oh, this guy's painting his face, and they don't want it to take away. Not that it's going to take away, but just
that's
like
what I'm saying.
not to saturate the market of like, oh, everyone's painting their face. We were trying to keep Sting and Darby as our main dudes, as the only people. I don't know if I'm Gold Dust.
That sounds like the dumbest shit. Oh man, that's tough to deal with. I would be so frustrated.
At first I was like, yeah, damn, that'll suck. But then I was like, well, I'm doing a different gimmick anyway. So just let me.
Then the Great Muta should have been like, no, Sting, you can't paint your fucking face. What do you want from me?
Yeah, right.
How far are we going with this? I'm just saying, how far are we going with this? Great Muta should have been like, hey, Sting, right there. You an Ultimate Warrior. Fuck off. Don't paint your face.
But they're not. They were in the same company for a little bit, but like now everything's different. Like.
No, I understand now it is. Yeah, I mean it's got to be. I'm sure.
I get it because it's just like, hey,
the exposure that everyone has now, I can't imagine what it's like to even try to launch a gimmick. Because anything you try to come up with, some asshole is probably already trying to film out there and fucking
Like WWE literally has said in a thing. I did a few of the tryouts and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like one of the first things we look at is 1, we Google the fuck out of your name, and 2, we go by your followers. If you got 100,000 followers, they're like, okay, it's something. Let's see what he got, because that's 100,000 people that maybe they don't know about.
Yeah.
My 1,500 people is not going to do shit,
Right.
But is it called Catch-22 or whatever? But like, if they put me on, maybe my numbers go up. My numbers don't go up unless they put me on or whatever.
That's 100% a Catch-22. You're right. Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I ventured off and started doing other shit.
There you go.
Until the shit opens up.
What is it? Adapt and evolve, Nick?
Adapt and evolve.
Like down in Florida, like one of my buddies owns a company down there, and he was like, "Hey, you're my boy, so if you can get down here, we have some big news that we're merging with a company down here, and if you're down here wrestling, I want them to use you because if you're on our roster and they merge, you're going to be on theirs." And I was like, "When's your shows?" And of course, on every fucking.
Did you make up noise? Yeah, you might have scared them off.
Every company that decides to run now that COVID's starting to slow down runs the same fucking weekend. 4 weekends in a month? Nope, we all run the same one. But it's in Sarasota. So go wrestle and go see the Macho Man's grave. Or tree. Whatever.
You'll be the only people in Sarasota under the age of 65. So
the wrestling shows are drawing 250 with COVID. It's only had a company for 4 months.
That's pretty good. So, Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
Talk about something else.
Oh, yeah.
I was turning around.
Are they coming back again?
No. Actually, Greg, you might want to be in on this because you're our generation, right? Well, how about this? So you know how the cancel culture is going on right now, right? So just in general, as we were just coming on, I happened to see this. Like, it's the 30-year anniversary of the premiere of Beavis and Butthead. Now, as we were coming up, I'm sure it was 1993 it happened, right? That it just started and we were all into it. Now, the original premise of this show, as it started, like it led off with Beavis and Butthead are not real. They're stupid cartoon people made up by this Texas guy whom we hardly even know. Beavis and Butthead are dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive fools. But for some reason, these little wiener heads make us laugh. And then they put the show on there, right? So that goes out there. Afterwards, some little jackasses, whatever, they try to say, do some shit. So then, within the show, they actually change the disclaimer. Beavis and Butthead are not role models. They're not even human. They're cartoons. No, that was the first one. Yeah. Yes, they are not even turns. So put it another way, they don't try. It changed to Beavis and Butthead are not role models. They're not even human. They're cartoons. Some of the things they say made us to get hurt expelled, arrested, possibly deported. To put it in a way, don't try this home. Like, basically, don't do it, is what they said, right? So then between 1993 and 94, what happened was certain people tried to like determine what they saw in the episode of Beavis and Butthead into children doing these certain things. But here's where it like gets weird, is because during these court these court things, and it's obviously on there that these two, first of all, parents brought like a court case against MTV that a 3-year-old set a 2-year-old on fire because they were watching Beavis and Butthead. It's like, well, first of all, that's not possible. They brought it back to that. They brought back to that. You don't even have cable TV in this place you were in, right? And Nick, I am on this right now, so I'm going to get a rant. Please get this off me, but I'm going to keep going if I have to. So that there we go. So like my face there. But yeah, so basically they went down this whole thing of that. You know, they changed the disclaimer twice. They let out a disclaimer that these people aren't real, right? That this isn't this is this. And then our parents, I'm sure at the time, you all did too, I guarantee it, that you guys can't watch this. We were about 10 to, Greg, I believe you're 8 to 9 years old at the time, saying the same thing that, you know, this is not real. And if this happens, it's your fault or your parents' fault for making you watch this. Then it changed it to after 11 p.m. with a different, you know, lead in saying this, and they still tried to blame it on this, said it was wrong. Now with the cancel culture going on right now, 30 years later, I figured it was just a weird thing to talk about at this exact time.
Well, I mean, what was the argument? Like, my 2 and 3-year-old couldn't read the disclaimer.
Well, that right there, that was proved wrong because they were just like, that was like some scumbags and like fucking, I don't even say a state. I want to downplay Alabama. Hey, fuck you. But anyway, like, no, like, God.
Yeah, but I mean, like what really is the argument? Like, I would imagine them saying some stuff.
Well, no, because what they said that because Beavis, apparently, like I said, I read this for like 20 minutes straight before we hop in this episode just to be ready for it. Like, because Beavis would go, fire, fire. And they were like, well, our 3-year-old was going, fire, fire with a lighter. It's like, hey, that's a fucking you problem, right?
Where'd he get the lighter? Hey.
Well, it's like now, it's like well, Greg. But no, like, as opposed to look what our cancer culture is today, though. Imagine Beavis and Butthead. My parents hated me watching that. And I don't know about you guys. Like, I mean, we're all in Catholic school at the same time. They're going, you guys are going to do this. It's like, but what fucking I'm not going to fucking light a house on fire.
Well, I mean, we tried, I'm sure. But yeah, dude, there's always problems with stuff like that. I mean, Mortal Kombat came out the year before that, and
same thing we always talk about, right?
I remember our aunt was in a tizzy because our dad bought us the game, and she came over fucking hooting and hollering, "Hey, you know, you can't let them have this. It's like all this blood and violence." And my dad's like, "Well, they can't rip anyone's heart out. Like they're fucking 8 years old. Who cares? It's a
little that they know that I can."
Well, now you probably can.
What I'm saying is, like, just in general, though, so, like, right there, so, like, what we're looking at right now in our current culture where they just, I mean, and we'll get into this, too, they canceled Pepe Le Pew, but whatever, we got in the cancel culture a little bit last week.
Probably the first justifiable cancel.
Thank you. You're the first person that took my side on that one, because is that fucker a little bit rapey? I hated that cocksucker my entire life. I'll kick the shit out of Pepe Le Pew.
I never liked him as a character because he was boring.
Like, if that guy was around me...
I just relate it because that's how I hold my cat. Like, come back here. I love you. Love me.
Yeah, I mean, it is a cartoon cat. I mean,
yeah, except you can't do that to a female.
No, you gotta. Yeah. Well,
he's a skunk.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, he's like. If
anything, well, Mr. Potato Head's a fucking potato.
But now, what about? I can't think of what cartoon it is. Is it maybe Eek the Cat, where like the big bitch Annabelle? She's all over Eek, I think.
Yeah.
There's one that's a girl all over somebody, and I'm like, why aren't they canceling her?
Because I don't know. Nobody watches Eek the Cat.
Right. That's not as well known.
It was hilarious because he looked at her, he's like, wow, she's beautiful. And the guy's like, what, her? Like, she's clearly just a pig with a tutu.
All right, so on like this other thing, right? So then they also tried to they sued Beavis or MTV and Beavis and Butthead for, at one point in an episode, apparently they tried to like they took a bowling ball and stuck like fire shit in there, like fireworks and dynamite, try to blow it up. And then they conceived that with somewhere in Texas one time, they rolled a bowling ball off a bridge and it hit a car as like an overpass. And they blamed it on that.
More of the good side than anything.
Very true.
Like
Now
the
they can't
Beavis and Butthead thing, I think I remember it. It was when they try to put a firecracker in a frog.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yes.
No, that actually, yeah. Well, everybody's tried to do that. Let's be honest. I mean, you win twice, right? You want to be a veterinarian, you win twice.
I remember Chuck used to put a straw into a toad and blow it with
Nobody
a
got the Joe
straw.
Dirt reference. Yes, you guys are like light years behind here. Joe Dirt, come on.
I'm perfectly fine with never seeing that.
What's that?
I said I'm perfectly fine with never seeing that movie.
I mean, Joe Dirt, the first one's good. The second one, you're like,
No, why would you watch
the second one?
Why would you watch the second one? Oh yeah, the second one was produced online. Matt, yeah, don't watch that. No, the first one's awesome.
That's like watching Home Alone 4.
Well, Joe Dirt 1 is awesome. Joe Dirt 2.
no, thank you.
You just said it was awesome.
Sandlot
I got a text. I'll take that right there. I got a text. I believe it was Thursday fucking night after midnight saying fucking Coming to America is enjoyable. You lying fuck you. And I'm looking at you up there, you bald headed fuck. Fuck you. That's enjoyable?
You didn't like all the dance scenes?
That's enjoyable.
I said it was. I said it was all right.
You didn't text me. I'm talking to your brother.
It was basically just like watching a Disney Channel movie with Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes could have been an awesome villain in that character, though. Like, give him a gun. Like, the plot was stupid.
See, Jeff O'Connell loves Joe Dirt. Good for him.
It was the same plot as the first movie, basically.
Yeah, except on PG-13 in Disney. Dude, I almost texted you about 6 minutes into the fucking movie. I swear to God, Sunday, I was so fucking fired up. I just got that working out. And I'm like, and he goes, I happen to love being on Flaz A. And I'm like, motherfucking Nick. I was like, you knew that line happened in that movie. I said, I happen to love being on Flaz A. Cock-sucking cunt. I was so mad.
It was all right.
It wasn't. Though.
It didn't.
I mean, be honest.
I mean, I'll never watch it again. So
right. So it wasn't that good. So just say that.
I liked like a lot of the callbacks and references and stuff. I liked.
I mean, the reference. No, there were some cool references. I'll agree with that.
Did you like drink a fucking Red Bull before the show?
I told you I was coming fired up. I didn't have enough energy last week, so I told you I was coming and fucking fired up this week.
Jesus Christ. I liked that Colin Jost was the grandson of the Dukes. I thought that was cool. Like a cool reference.
It wasn't Tom and Jerry.
It wasn't Tom and Jerry. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know. I can't even say which one was better, to be honest with you. Both kind of fucking weird.
My favorite line from Tom and Jerry was the extra saying, he's not even a blind cat playing piano, just a regular cat playing piano. Let's get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been me. I could have been Piano Thug too.
I'm surprised they're not canceling that movie because Tom pretends he's blind and plays piano. I mean, where does it end?
How far do we go, right?
Disabilities. Oh my God. Soon we're gonna be back to fucking silent films. You're not even just a guy like this. That's it. You're not even gonna be able to.
I was gonna make my new wrestling shirt just say renewed.
What?
Since everything in wrestling's canceled, I was be renewed. Okay, guys.
I don't get the joke.
Renewed. If you cancel something and you bring it back, you renew it.
Oh.
I
Reboot?
think that's a revive it. Renewed is when you go from season to season.
Renewed, a contract, review it, whatever. Re-something. Re-talk.
This is definitely our Webster's Dictionary episode.
Fucking off the rails is what it is.
No one knows what we're talking about. Oh,
But fuck it, let's go with it, I guess.
What's your? Let's go back to Beavis and Butthead real quick. I remember getting the first tape. My grandmother bought it for us at FYE or Record.
See, now that's what I respect about that.
Yeah, she watched it too. It was the There Goes the Neighborhood one because it had like the washing the dog episode. It went from the first ones because Butthead was talking like this, and then he went to hey, how's it going? Like his voice, was really the first type of ones to the
got us some aficionado here.
I when I first got my credit card at 18, I went to Time Life. You know, like all the infomercials at night was like Time Life, get Beavis and Butthead. I bought all the DVDs.
So you're the guy.
I'm the only one who put them in business. They're still charging my fucking card.
You bought Mike lunch 16 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And like they had like the washing the dog episode, which I'm sure probably got shit. Like you put a dog in a dryer or a washer, or they had the chainsaw when they're cutting the cricket.
Oh yeah, he cuts his finger off. Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, Ted Nugent did that on his show. What an idiot!
I sawed off his tweeter, or the golf episode.
Oh, that's
so good.
So many golf puns in that one. I remember that. You put your balls in the ball washer, Beavis.
We're gonna get the shot.
And now, Matt, that's the amount of golf we're gonna get in this show.
I got that message earlier.
It's holding the shaft.
There's no Bryson DuChamp being mentioned here.
Nope.
Who?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Let's
the king of pitch and putt.
Keep it in the lane here.
That's why we're trying to make the double joke.
Yeah. Double jokes. There we go. What are they called, Greg? Tundras?
Double entendre?
There we go. I'm using something right for the first time.
Double tundras. Drop a tundra. Yeah. I'm assuming well, they were supposed to come back, so I'm sure if they do come back, they'll be canceled. Or something stupid. Then again, South Park's still there, and they're literally making fun of cancel last time. And they're doing whatever. I don't know what's going on in the world with Q. What's going on with the Q movement or whatever?
Kanon? I have no idea. I stopped looking at that shit.
I don't know, but like South Park has an episode coming up that's South Park with PARQ, where it's all about whatever the Q thing is. I don't know.
Well, I would assume it's all the QAnon stuff that's out there.
QAnon, yeah. Y'all don't know what that is?
Friggin' crazy hicks that pay
Jesus Christ, look at you, Nick. I'm surprised.
I'm out of it. I don't know any recent news, dude.
Do me a favor. Go ahead.
No, it's not recent, bro. That's that international.
Do me a favor. Go ahead and stay out of it.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
Yeah, just be out of it. Don't Google it. Don't get on a Reddit thing. Don't just don't.
Oh, good. I'm happy in my ignorance this week.
Yes.
Wonderful. All right. So yeah, so you think they're going to bring it back, or they just brought it up in an article that?
No, they just brought it up. That was the 30th anniversary, and then like I just thought this was me talking like during the current situation of their, canceling everything for anything right now. But at the time when we were kids, about 10 years old, 9 to 10, depending on Greg, like we were suffering. I don't want to say suffering, but coming from the same thing of our parents were yelling to, and the whole community was saying, look what these assholes are doing. They're setting things on fire. They came out with their warnings, and then they put it on after 11 p.m. And then after that, and everything was fine. And last I checked, nobody was throwing rocks or bowling balls off fucking buildings or overpasses and hitting cars and stuff like this. So it's like now they're canceling everything, and it's like, is it really happening like that? Like, do we need to cancel Pepe Le Pew? Is the skunk gonna fucking I mean, I agree with that one, but some of it's taking the fuck. Go ahead.
When's the last time they even made a Pepe Le Pew cartoon? Like,
they have, because they
is he supposed to be coming up in the next Space Jam? I think that's it. I could be wrong.
There was a scene in there that got deleted because of all of it.
So wait, I want to know who's doing the canceling. Like,
I'd love to know too, Nick. Honestly.
So here's how it works.
Cared so fucking.
I'll break down, Matt. You might.
Here's basically how it works. This news breaks, and these assholes on Twitter just start searching whatever the recent news is, and they find all this stuff, and then they bring it back up to light. The same thing happened with James Gunn. He's throwing out all this stuff 15 years ago, experimental comedy, and it's all coming back now, and then he gets canned by Disney.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope I get really successful and someone looks back on these and says, oh, he said something about anything, and now I'm canceled. Great, cool, whatever.
Because you made it that far already.
It kind of makes you scared to be successful. Like, what's the point of working so hard if someone's just going to call back a friggin' message you sent when you were 18?
Well, you listen to Burr. He said the same thing, right, about Carano. It's like, so now it's like, some people got to think in the back of their minds. It's like, why should you have to think in the back of your minds? I mean, all of us here in these, obviously we're on 4, and some people, 2 or 3 people may be watching us or see this and hear me say this stupid shit. Like I always say, generally I say it for fun and like, whatever, who gives a fuck? Because I don't really cancel me, but who the hell am I? But like, yeah, in the past, we've all said some dumb shit, and you feel bad about it now, and you realize about this. So it's like now, if one of us had become like a huge star, and this wasn't around at the time when we were 13 or 14 or 15, but if we had tweeted something stupid about that time, about the shit I would have said, and I became famous right now, dude, I've been canceled before I was famous. You know what I mean? Like,
there's some stuff that is unjustifiable, 100%.
Yeah.
But when you go back that far, you lose all sense of context.
yeah, you're not even that person's not even like a true man or female at the time. They're just
People grow.
Yeah, like
Dude,
Well, that's like the
card
whole
skunk.
how people in hip hop are trying to cancel Eminem for making a song called like Black Bitches.
I
He
sent it
was
to Nick. Yeah.
because he was dating a black girl and she broke his heart, so he made a song called Black Bitches or Whack or whatever it was. And they're like, no, cancel them.
Yeah, if I was the same person I was at 15, I wouldn't be 4 beers deep in right now.
Well,
People grow.
You'd probably be in bed because it's
you're putting up,
Looks like rain. Gotta go.
I got
putting up
beat me to it.
you're putting up the big numbers now, bro. You're 4 beers.
Oh, it's only 8 o'clock, buddy.
Hey.
No, I mean, we've done some actual post shows here with Nick and stuff like this. I'm like, dude, if I was the same person I was 15 years ago, I would have took a flamethrower to this place. I would have been a total asshole, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
And you learn, like you do learn. Trust me, you do. Like,
Yeah, I was much nicer.
oh yeah, well, no, I'm actually nicer now. That's
Oh yeah, you are too. Your martial arts leveled you out. That's for sure. Unless you get a mat. Don't poke the bear.
Everybody needs.
That's very untrue. That's very untrue. Like I joke when I do these like lead-ins with these jokes and these rips. I'm generally kidding, unless I actually, it's something that I really do get passionate about, and then you'll see me just.
Yeah, well,
It won't be about personal stuff. No.
I just don't get it. I think Bill, what he said, I just had it in my head and I forgot. But he said something like, these people are going back. Oh, yeah, I know what he said. He said, these people, it's 1 or 2 people on the internet that are coming up and saying like, oh, he did this inappropriate shit. Well, guess what? Now you snowballed. Now people are going to look into your past and they're going to find shit that you said. And then they're going to cancel you. And it's going to keep going and going and going. And pretty soon you're not going to be able to say anything. And
then you're fully screwed, right?
It's ridiculous because you can. Where's the limit? Like you could cancel anybody for anything. If I say, "Oh, Jesus isn't real," oh, there go, I'm canceled. Well, why? You mean you haven't read the rest of the trilogy? You haven't read the Quran? I mean, come on. Like if you haven't read the Book of Mormon? This is a true story. When I lived with Matt Ross. Oh God, this is good. This is going to get us canceled.
Oh, Matt Ross. This would go in 7 different directions.
When I lived with Matt Ross.
Who is this now? Do I know who this is?
Yeah. I shouldn't have said his name out loud.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we like bleep that?
Who cares? The redhead.
Everyone listen, earmuffs for a little bit.
Yeah, the redhead that I lived in Troy with. We worked with. You know who he is.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, just go.
So
What's the fuck out of there?
One hungover Saturday, we get a knock at the door, and I look through the people, and it's these 2 cute girls, and I'm like, I go, Matt, you invited anyone over? He's like, no. All right, so he's on the couch. I open the door, and they say, do you have a moment? They do the Jesus Christ thing. Do you have a moment to talk to us about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Greg, stop jumping around. You're making it so fucking loud, dude.
It's the cat.
All right, fucking mute you. Anyway, so it's these 2 Mormon chicks, and it's like they're trying to sell me the Book of Mormon. So out of the background, all of a sudden, like I turn, I go, Matt, do you have some time to hear about Jesus? He goes, no, honey, let's finish the movie. And I'm like,
that's good though.
Well, it was out of nowhere, right? So I'm like white face. I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. We're kind of, come on back here. We gotta finish. I'm like, sorry, my husband and me, we got to watch this.
Hold on, is he pulling the swingers there, though?
Kind of. And so now these 2 girls are petrified. They're like 18.
Is he dark?
Kind of, yes, but he's pretending.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Now these 2 girls don't know what to say. I'm like, okay, just give me your pitch. And they're like, it's the Book of Mormon and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, yeah. Have you read the rest of the trilogy? And they're like, what? I'm like, have you read the Bible and the Quran? And like the Book of Tao? And they're like, no. I go, well, you read all those and then come back. Hurry up, honey. And so that was the story for the most part. So I didn't buy it. But I'm sure they went back to their headmaster, whatever fucking cult leader they have, and
No, I mean, even I'm sometimes like not about being canceled, but I saw, I share memes out of everything on Facebook just to fucking amuse myself and obviously anybody else.
You amuse me too.
But there's some I saw today, and I'm not gonna, Nick, you'll know who it's from, I'm guessing. But I saw some that I'm like, bro, I can't even touch these. Oh, do put one out, and it's like a shot of like a tweet, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even know if I can do this. And there's a shot of a tweet from somebody, and it says, remind me, how many AR-15s did Jesus own? And the response was, not enough to avoid being murdered by the government. And I was like, dude, I don't even know if I can put that out there, bro. And Nick, you do know who that is. He's a big fella, kind of about my third cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bomb right there.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not exactly sure you can say that, bro. And then I commented another one, I said, coming out hot, bro. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, you got it. Well, that's what's funny is like people share all this really.
I'll get yelled at for that. I'm like, Jesus.
Well, people share all this really offensive stuff, but they're not getting any blowback from it. It's like fucking Pepe Le Pew in love with a cat. Like,
well, no, we talked about that though. You said you agreed on that. Like, even growing up, to me, that he was a little scumbaggy.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's still a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. He's not a real fucking thing. Exactly.
In the 60s, like, who cared? Even earlier, probably the 40s. Like, who the fuck cares? 100 years ago.
Well, even then, but what I have to go back to there is they're not fucking real, right?
No, they're not real. And even
it's a fucking.
It's stupid. It's a lot of stupid shit.
But. Yeah, if you're taking that if you're taking that fucking thing real, you have a lot of other like issues in your life.
So when you said, yeah, oops. All right, cross that out. Let me cross that right off the list. That's the football talk. I guess we got to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, football talk. Jesus.
I hope not.
I'm saying we did.
All right. Do we have any movie news? Justice League is out in 2 weeks. You guys still ready for this? Greg,
say that again.
Greg, you haven't talked about Justice League. What do you?
Oh yeah, get in there, Greg.
Pile of shit.
The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, you said? What I'm talking about.
Well, you're breaking in and out. Yeah. What's up? We got 10 days. Fucking stoked. Yeah. 4 hours. But then I keep seeing, is it going to come out 4 hours, one sitting, or are they going to weekly bullshit?
No, it's 4 hours. 4 hours, one sitting. Because
I saw another one that said they're doing 6 parts.
There's 6 chapters, but I think you're able to view them. Yeah.
Nope, I'm watching it straight through.
Yeah.
But if they just announced that if this does well, HBO's going with Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill. So they're relying on that, which would be awesome.
Good. That would be good. But then he could fight Darkseid in that, right? Because I don't think they're supposed to fight Darkseid in this one.
No, there's not enough new footage for that.
No, it's just they're going to do more of the future Nightmare thing, and that's where he's going to show up in the past. That's it. They're not going to fight. It's going to the same thing. They're fighting fucking what's his name?
Right, and that's where I think the Joker. That's where I think the Joker takes on the Hannibal Lecter type role, where he's guiding him through.
Yeah, mostly.
What was it that they said that the Joker shoots were in the nightmare scene, but it's like kind of like they're working together kind of deal?
Right, that's what I mean. He's that guiding voice in that nightmare sequence where it's kind of dropping hints as far as how to proceed when it gets to that point.
And isn't in the original one that they had was that they actually made reference and they let it be known that Joker killed, was it Jason Todd in this movie they're going with?
Yes.
So are they're gonna go that route, which would be cool.
Well, that breaks into the whole thing we've talked about before. I don't think we did it on the podcast, where is the Joker in that universe actually Jason Todd?
Yeah, that was like a fan theory.
Right.
They had a lot of proof for it, so I think it's interesting. I don't think they're going to jump into it too much in this. Really,
this isn't the movie for it.
Right, most of the stuff in this is going to be the Flash stuff, the background stuff for Cyborg, and it's going to be more like story filler that was cut out of the other one. I don't think they're going to. It's not going to be anything crazy new, but I do know 75% of it's new. Or unseen footage. So
it's like 80% is like or the original footage. I don't even. And 20 is like what I don't know if it's other shit. What he already shot before, and they're not using.
Yeah, it was all stuff left. Yeah, it was all stuff left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
No,
and then-
but I mean, like, are they using any of the original footage from the original flick?
Yeah, I would imagine there's some, but the majority of it is going to be the stuff that was in there before Whedon came in and reworked it.
So so it's going to be the original Snyder that he shot.
Right.
So none of the
I think.
he
Yeah,
came
I
in and
think what they said. Yeah, I think what I read is they're only doing like 2.5 minutes of actual brand new footage.
it's real simple. It's real simple. It's really simple.
Simple.
He filmed a fuck ton. He filmed enough for 2 movies, and then he had to leave because his daughter passed away. And Whedon took over and said, "I don't like it.
Yeah,
We don't
he
like
reshot
the direction." And he reshot a bunch of shit and cut out like 80% of what Snyder did. So
Right, that's what I mean. So are they going to use no Whedon footage at all?
I'm
I'm
saying,
sure
check
it's
your
mixed
comments
in.
right now, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, check your
it's
comments
mixed in.
right now. Jeff O'Connell is telling you what the fuck the movie is right now. It's 4-hour movie. Check it out.
this is what
Looks
we
like
just
looks like he's 4 beers deep in too.
Whoa.
That's just you in a mirror, you dumbass.
we should put Jeff down in the bottom corner there. Bullshit. A real weird day. Yeah. So yeah, there's your answer, dude. And then they spent another $80 million on effects. So there's gonna like the
Well,
scene be there, but they're adding a bunch of shit. Like the Green Lantern. I think Martian Manhunter is supposed to show
Yes.
up. The Green Lantern might show up. So like, there's
I know
stuff
they
they
took
filmed.
everything out. Like the black suit had its own story. What's his dick? Robot face had his own story that gave
What's
him
this
the
thing? Robot face is in the show.
Yeah,
I'll come to know Cyborg as I am cast as Deathstroke in the Teen Titans Alpha film coming up, feature film this year. But yeah, just so you know, they have a whole Ray Fisher story, or whatever the fuck his name is, Cyborg. I don't know the guy's character.
Neither do I. I'm rolling with you, brother.
Cyborg. They gave him a backstory so you could actually care about him instead of just being
all right. We've established it's Cyborg. It took fucking 78 seconds to establish
Cyborg.
Victor Stone, you cocksucker. You're in a movie with you don't even know his name. The best part of that is that his dad is the dude from Terminator 2 that got blown the fuck. Right? That's just such a meta reference. Remember in Terminator 2 when they go into Skynet and he's like, I can't believe I'm the one that did all this. And he's like, because he created
He's been in a bunch of different stuff.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
In Terminator.
Are you talking to me?
Greg, stop singing.
I was acting out the scene that he was in.
I'm fucking muting you. He's
You gotta
playing,
get it together, brother.
he's playing Cyborg's father in this movie. He creates Cyborg using the mother box. So in this movie, he essentially creates the Terminator. It's a meta callback because in Terminator 2, he's the engineer that creates the Terminator.
But John.
All right. Greg, you're getting cut. Bye. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us, Greg. Fox Veneer.
Entertainment gone.
Motherfuckers eating on camera.
I'm like, what the fuck is that noise?
Can't hear a
Fucking
guy
professionals over here.
eating chips. Chips
Holy
and
shit. You said it's my
Oreos.
cat. I'm like, what is that noise? I mean, it was good for a bit.
bro. Is it?
No, I love it. It was good. It was good questions. But then it's like, guy, you're killing me.
Bye. Banned from studio.
What's
Banned from the studio. We're gonna have to cut this episode into 2 parts: 45 minutes of wrestling and then everything else.
Oh, we're only at an hour 18. We got a solid 3 hours left, dude.
Yeah, we're doing a marathon here. I'm gonna have to piss in a jar.
That's what I just had to do. That's why I turned my screen off. I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom, guys. Sorry. As your brother started talking, I'm like, dude, I gotta go.
You had time.
It's gonna take a minute. All right, so why don't you guys?
Shit, really?
No, it was good.
Check
I
out
mean,
that
we were good on, and we went off topic with Greg because, I mean, it was good though for a bit. Yo,
So I don't know.
Wow, your brother's coming in hot here. Let's say, League Justice League today. see
HBO
that?
accidentally leaked Justice League. People trying to watch Tom and Jerry got the Snyder cut instead. Was up for 2 hours, so they didn't get.
I did read. He's right. I did read something about that. I didn't see it though.
So they didn't get to watch the whole movie, or the people that started got to watch the whole thing, or did it just get cut off halfway through?
We're talking to you, Jeff.
Yeah, if I had to guess, if it was up for 2 hours, it probably cut after 2 hours once they took it down.
You know what they'll probably do is they'll probably just release it early then.
Not sure. Check your torrent sites. Talking to
That
you.
was a torrent site.
Kind of fucking.
What is this? What is this, like 96?
This is
Oh, that's just mean spirited, bro.
You guys got to be nice with our only listener every week.
Seriously. I'm gonna get like 3 listeners, bro.
He's base.
there's a history there.
Trying to fucking share this more and more. Dude, I had to laugh. Like, BT, I mean, I guess we got a prize. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
All right. Why don't you guys talk about this? I wrote down Dak Shepard. That's how much I care about football.
Dak Shepard?
Dak Shepard.
You said Dax. That's what I wrote. I wrote
Dak
down
Prescott.
There's a Dak Prescott.
And as we were going on live, Matt had said that he got a contract. I didn't even get this check it yet. But no, that's pretty big. I mean, like,
talk about it. I'll be right back.
yeah. I mean, we can talk about it, definitely. So, I mean, do you want to go, Matt, or what was it?
Yeah,
I didn't see the contract yet.
Contract
Jeff said 4 years, 160.
4 years, 160,
They
126.
signed him to that. I'm fucking.
Well,
I'm
it
ecstatic.
sounds like they're still working out the details.
Oh,
So
fuck, all guaranteed.
So come tomorrow, he's going to sign the franchise tender, which will put him in for.
Oh, no,
Which will
we
put him
signed
in.
a franchise then?
Yeah, they're going to franchise him in the meantime, so that he's not allowed to negotiate with anybody else while they're ironing
And then they're
out
going
the
to negotiate a
details.
4-year 160.
Right. So he'll get 35 for the first year, and then the rest will kick in on years 2 through 4. 126 million guaranteed. And like you were saying before we started, that pretty much fucks the Cowboys.
Like we're 2 years, we're 2 as Jeff, as you're listening, we're 2 minutes ready to go to this. Matt tells me that I went fucking ballistic. I was like, yes.
Because now you're paying big money to Dak. You're paying big money to Elliott.
Jalen Smith. Dude, you got nobody.
And Zeke is probably carrying all 120 million in his pockets because he is not running like he used to.
No. Though he became like, there's a guy I follow. I don't know if you look at him, John Wellborn, huge. He's famous now. He's an offensive line for 10 years for the Eagles and the Chiefs. And when he was playing for the Chiefs, he was a guard and like that. And he was with Larry Johnson. And like he said, like Larry Johnson at the time was one of the best things. He's almost like a Zeke right now. He's going for about 2,000, getting close there. And he told the owner, Lamar Hunt, not to. He's like, you give that guy his money, you will never see him run like this again. And he gave him that money. Larry Johnson never ran like that again. Zeke went to fucking, I don't know, the fucking Poconos, wherever the fuck this motherfucker went. Sat there for 2 weeks. They gave it to him. He came back fat as fuck. They gave him his thing. He will never in your life run like that again. I guarantee it. Dak, they gave him that money. That's beautiful. As a Giants fan, I fucking love it because that they're hamstrung forever. Love it. Love it. I couldn't have got better news tonight.
Does anyone have any theories on what his thought process was for this?
Who? Jerry
Dak?
Jones? Like, look at Jerry. I love Jerry Jones. I love this cocksucker thinks he can buy the NFL. You can't.
Well, like, what was his thought process on giving this like average
Well,
Joe?
in the NFL,
Well, his numbers
I
are
wouldn't
great.
call him an average Joe.
Yes.
But he's not. The problem with the NFL is you can't win number one without a quarterback.
True.
And the way the
sometimes
salary cap,
Right.
yeah, right. The way the salary cap works and the way the
Salary
Players Association, which is the Players Union works, everyone that comes up for a new contract pretty much has to make more than the contract that was signed before you.
As a quarterback.
Right, as a quarterback, yes. You're setting a brand
Or
new market
can we
with
call
every
it-
single person that signs.
Can we call it as like those higher value positions? So if you're talking about a
Skill
quarterback,
positions.
a left tackle,
Yep.
or if you're like an interior defensive lineman that is considered that good, like say an Aaron Donald or a JJ at the time, Aaron Donald, whatever. But if you're a quarterback, yes. Like for instance, like so Patrick Mahomes, right? Nick, your guy signed this unbelievable deal. He's making like $1 billion essentially, right?
$500 million.
$500 million guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed, but I mean close to it if it hits these amount of times.
Oh,
Now, Dak-
didn't he use his money to buy the Royals? Part of it.
Part
Well,
of
yeah.
it, yes.
Because his father played for him. But how about this though? So Dak, who has not won a playoff game, but the way it works though with the way it had begun like years ago, and they kind of brought it back. Matt, I believe if you think about this through like the draft stuff, and they had to they brought that back. Like the draft status was coming up, Nick, because you were drafted number 1, it was getting progressively higher. It stopped with Cam Newton. But like it was like if you were drafted number 1, like you were guaranteed $50 million. Like Sam Bradford was guaranteed $48 million in 2007. No matter what, that guy sucked. I mean, it didn't suck, but I mean, let's be honest. He had 3 ACLs before he got in the NFL. So now, like, it's like if you're drafted at this position, yeah, you heard right. So it's like this is where it becomes like a really business, Nick. And this is why where you would love it. It has nothing to do with sports, man. Like it's really like a business. Like you're looking at this as like, say, like an asset as opposed to like an athlete.
You know, that reminds me of you guys remember that Madden coach game?
Yeah, I loved it.
Head coach 09.
Where you didn't actually play football. You just like it was just like spreadsheets and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the new. Go ahead. That's the new strategy. That's the new strategy of the NFL. That's why you see guys like Daniel Jones going number 3 overall or whatever the hell it is. If you can take a chance on a guy like that, you've got him for 4 years.
And at that shit contract.
At practically league minimum. Instead of paying a guy $35 million a year. You got to cash in. You got to take gambles and you got to hit.
Well, even right there, this is what I'll go into something like that, even off of Dak. So, like, I was rolling with, dude, this is why I'm just kind of big into, like, obviously, the guys know football and stuff like this. Justin Herbert, like, I was on him since he was a fucking sophomore at Oregon. I was like, I want the Giants to get that guy, right? He didn't come out that year or whatever. The Giants ended up taking DJ at 7. Next year, Chargers got him at 11. That guy's the fucking future of the Chargers for the next 10 years. And it showed that, and they got him. People were like, right now that aren't in the know, are going, why are the Chargers not, willing to get rid of him for Deshaun Watson, who wants out? Nick, I'm saying this is like selling a house, it's like selling an asset, right? Like Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston, right? Yeah, exactly. So this quarterback who's amazing, but he has his contract here in Houston, right? He wants out of there. He's really saying he will not play there. But then they're like, well, why isn't the San Diego Chargers willing to, trade just Justin Herbert to get him? It's like, well, because Deshaun has been in the league for 4 years. He re-signed his contract. It's worth $100 million. They have Justin Herbert for four years, and then they still have a 5-year, which I have him on like a kind of, which would probably get him about 40 at that time in 5 years. But they have that guy in a rookie contract for 5 years. No matter what, they have this quarterback there, right? Now, Deshaun Watson is worth
to get into.
Yeah, well, no, now it is. But back in the day, if you were drafted number 1 as a quarterback, like Eli, I just gave it away. Who was the highest paid NFL player of all time?
I don't know, John. Tell me.
Eli Manning.
Really?
100%. Did you guys not know that? Eli Manning.
I did not.
How would I know that?
Eli Manning.
All right.
Because of the way he contracted his deal and stuff like that, but also because at the time when he was drafted, like there was no you had to for right now. Actually, what I appreciate about this, you'll love this too, Nick. Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. Did you know that, Matt?
I did.
So Lamar Jackson, the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, Nick, when he was drafted at number 22. So what he did was well, now that we have these specific spots where we're drafted, I don't have to have an agent. He's like, so what I'll do is I'm drafted at 22, and myself and my family will negotiate because I can only get this much. He's like, so why do I need an agent to negotiate a contract for me in these first 3 years? Because I can only get this much.
Keep that 10%.
Yeah. He's like, so I don't need that anymore. He's like, for this first 3 years, he's like, I don't need an agent. I know what I can get the most and do this. He's like, that's, the way it is. So to bring it back, it's like where Dak is right now in with the Cowboys, Nick, essentially I don't even know how to say this. This is a great, actually, ethical contract we were talking about, kind of on the pre-show. So, Nick, what happened was, there he is, Big Jeff. I love it.
Yeah.
There he is. I love it with the Giant shit on.
I guarantee you, he threw that shit on as soon as he got that invite.
I love it. All right, so, Nick, let me clue you in on Dak here. So, some people would say that Dak was drafted in the 3rd round and outplayed his contract. Right now, here's the thing. He was drafted in the 3rd round. This is the contract he signed, right? X, Y, and Z. Now he's coming into this. He wants more money than Patrick Mahomes because of the numbers he's put up. He has put up some numbers. However, he hasn't won shit. In my opinion, the Cowboys signing him, and I love it, Jeff. Look at that reaction. This is going to be great.
That's the Cowboys way. They pay everybody, and they still don't win shit.
Yes. I love it because Jerry Jones has all this money. He's almost like a terrible version of Steinbrenner. Oh, Matt just got this right. He's a terrible version of Steinbrenner because the Yankees actually win shit sometimes. But baseball's a different game, I guess. It was I think Jerry Jones, that was great. Is that true? By the way, this was 2 minutes going into the show. I didn't even get to look it up yet.
Yeah, the contract's done. Well, it's basically they've got details to iron out.
They're still going to do the franchise tag just to be safe, but yeah, it'll be done.
But getting into the stuff you referenced about Lamar Jackson not having an agent, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the Players Association will provide you an agent free of charge without giving up that 10%, and people just don't do it.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I think, well, that's the thing, because he came in after, I think that, like, it was established that they had this specific where they were drafted.
Yeah, once you got that slotted system in there,
right, after
you're pretty much set. But I'm talking even for that second contract, which is what you want to hire that agent for to get the most money out of it, that Players Association will provide you with an agent. It's just they go after these guys, these big headhunters. They're going to go out there and make the biggest contract they can possibly get. I don't blame them for doing it. I'm just saying that 10% on a $120 million contract is a big number.
Oh, 100, yeah, without a doubt. That's the thing. And now, Nick, like I said, this is like business stuff here, which I think you would agree with. Like these guys, like I said, stop looking at like sports. These guys are assets, right? Like Cam Newton is out there right now. Like, and if you look at ESPN every morning,
you can have him.
Like he says, like he doesn't think he's not going to be. Again, this is I can't give an opinion on like Ken and whether it's wrong or right, whatever. But he says he's not one of the worst 32 quarterbacks in the league, meaning he should not be a backup quarterback next year. I mean, everybody's seen him through the ball last year, so I don't know if that, whatever. Well, but that means he feels he should get a starting quarterback contract. Now, if you're his agent, how can you pitch that to someone after what the performance he put up last year? It's tough.
I would say.
I mean, if we're going down that route, Colin Kaepernick is one of the top 32 quarterbacks out there right now, too.
Are we sure about that, though?
Yeah.
I'll take his bait.
5 years.
Is he better than Nick Mullins?
I don't know.
I got to ask, who the fuck's Nick Mullins? I don't even know.
He's the backup for San Francisco.
I was going to say, I love football. Who the fuck's Nick Mullins?
He started 2 games last year.
Played a couple games.
We're throwing out friggin' Tyler Heineke.
The Heineke guy.
I will say Heineke, I think he's got a bright future. I actually think Heineke's got a little bit of a bright future.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's going to be the starter for Washington this year.
Well, they did sign him, right? 2 years? I think they got him.
Yeah, 2 years. I only got like $8 million.
Well, because Chase Young picked him up in the end zone.
Fucking Washington. The Washington football team.
But how about that? No, the Washington football team. How about that? They celebrated Alex Smith, and then they cut his ass.
A fucking animal as a logo? You could come on.
No, they're not even. Bro, hold on. No,
this is Dan. This is Dan Snyder we're talking about. He's not worried about picking a team. He's worried about selling that Redskins apparel 2 years ago. Now he can go through 2 years of selling Washington football team apparel, and now next year he can cash in again after they make a new team and sign all that stuff.
And this is all being done while he's paying bots to praise him on Twitter.
Yes,
100%.
And taking videos of his cheerleaders.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking freak.
Yes.
He should wear a Pepe Le Pew costume.
I think
maybe that's what it should be. The Washington.
I think there's videos out there of that.
Washington.
Washington football team has been Pepe Le Pew for a few years now.
No, what happens? Even right there. Well, here's an interesting thing, Nick. Like, if you look at it like a business, again, I know you don't like looking at sports, right? So, I love watching the draft. The draft is huge every year.
I know what football is, John.
Hey, fuck yourself, right? Yeah, but you hate it. Let's be honest. You hate sports.
I'm not invested. Like I don't
know.
have.
I'm trying to invest you in the conversation.
I don't have the hard drive space to remember 500 players and who's like.
Well, this is where I'm trying to I'm trying to make it like a business, which it really is, right?
Did the horse piss before the race and Gam bet on him? Like I don't know. It's too much.
No, what I'm saying is like this is where in this conversation right here in the off season, this is where it becomes very like business wise and focused, which is really actually kind of the cooler part of it, and like outside of the sports wise, like. So, for instance, everybody's looking at the draft, right? Now, and those two teams we were just discussing, say the Redskins and the Cowboys, no matter what anybody else wants, those two owners, the Snyder for the Skins, the football team, and Jerry Jones for the Cowboys, they determine who they want you to pick, right? Jerry Jones made his pick last year from his fucking yacht. Like, they have the war room. He pays all these guys all year to, like, break down these, like, players and do all this stuff. And Jerry Jones is like, well, I want that guy. And he got Jerry Jeudy, which actually was a great pick. Let's be honest, he was pretty good. But then Daniel Snyder,
like Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, nobody on Washington wanted him except for Snyder.
Right, and how'd that work out? And they hated him for taking him over DJ. But we're not going to get into it because we're both Giants. We're going to double team guys. We're both Giants fans here.
I'm all good for it.
That's okay. I got 6 Super Bowl rings to defend you against.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, but
You're gonna go down this road?
Technically,
Are we going
7
down
since
this
I'm a
road?
Brady fan.
what happened in 2 of the games where he played the Giants?
Do we want to do this?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. You don't do that with me. Come on now. No, I mean, like, last thing, like, it becomes.
How engaging.
Well, no, I mean, think about it though. Like, what I'm saying, and these guys will both agree, and Nick, you too. I mean, the way it is, the league, the way the league is it's a game. Like, it's a game, but it's also business. So right now, like, these guys, these owners are making these decisions, and I want to pick this, but there's other, say, like the Bucks, the Chiefs, obviously, who in the past have had like a not a very good organization, like owner wise, like they're giving up the reins to like win Super Bowls, so to speak. Like the Chiefs, the Bucks have just brought in all these people, and there's people who are like doubling down. Like, say for instance, the Cowboys, who I know my own way. Like Jerry Jones is the owner, general manager, and director of football operations of the Cowboys. It's like maybe you don't know everything, man. Maybe you need to take a step back.
And that's where the strategy comes in, where I think if Nick paid more attention, he might be able to embrace it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You have that set amount of money to spend, and it's how you choose to break it down.
Yeah, Nick, like you dig it.
It's just you got to be willing to dive in that deep.
Yeah, but
as opposed to just picking a
like
team.
If you're the oil billionaire that owns the team, are you going to be the guy that also decides that you're the guy that knows everything about football? You're the guy that makes all the decisions, and then you can't. I mean, generally by the league, technically right now, you can't call the plays, but if you could, you would. That's what Jerry Jones essentially is for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
well, because he played at Arkansas.
He's like the only one that's like
his dad bought him on as a guard in Arkansas in 1951. Come on, I bet.
Which is why Arkansas hasn't won shit in 50 years.
I fought my father every week with this since I was 13 years old. Oh, come on, I'll dare you to go with this, Mia.
Well,
but no,
I appreciate the strategy and all that. It's just that it's too much information for me to take in now. I mean, you guys have been studying it for years. I'll never be able to catch
it. So think of it as Monopoly.
That's exactly what it is. No, yeah, Matt, it's a game.
Patrick Mahomes is Broadway. Yeah. Dak Prescott is now Park Place.
Wrong.
And you go down the line.
Boom, there you go, right.
You'd have to be like St. James Place.
And then you got Tom Brady, Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, and one of the Harmon boys.
Right, so
it's the Railroads.
So Nick,
you get all 4 of those, you're going to win.
Where does he sign until 45? And he's restructured.
Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to play
this
more.
is like the Reddit thing I've run under, but everything's come true so far. Like that and the restructuring with the Browns to get Odell into the Bucks.
I don't buy that one myself.
Odell's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't buy that one myself.
Mm-mm.
Actually, I'd love to hear this, Jeff. Off the cuff. Sorry, guys. Going to go get your opinion on Odell.
Good riddance.
Okay.
He's fallen off a cliff since he hurt his ankle.
True.
With the Giants, and he's just not the explosive player, and a player like that where he doesn't have over the top speed, he's not destroying everybody in the 40. He's got explosive speed, and once you lose that, you're done. It's kind of like Hakeem Nicks. Hakeem Nicks was an explosive player. He got hurt, and he was never the same again. Same thing's happening with Odell.
Okay. Now, could I ask you about this? Now, again, as a huge Giants, you're one of the biggest Giants fans that I know outside of my cousin and myself. Now, would you this is how we talked about dealing with his antics is because he could provide.
Yeah, I think when he was,
because I was a little over the top because you know me, I'm a little bit over the top and I would dance with it too. And then when it got to be a little bit too much, but I'm like, all right, well, he can still provide.
Yeah, when he was playing with the Giants and he was kicking the field goal nets and doing everything he was doing, fine. It's the passion of the game, no worries. But as soon as he's in another uniform, and that it's the complete diva personality that you see out of T.O. and other guys like that.
That's where it's a little weird for us. Well, that's what because I know you're historic with me, like I am. Like it was a little weird for us there, punching stuff. But then it's like, well, we could justify Lawrence Taylor doing it. But then once he was doing it, it's like, well, he's kicking stuff and he's passionate. But then he was doing this, and then it's like, oh, once you can't provide, it's like, well, I don't want to feel like a hypocrite. But it's like, all right, dude, you can't provide anymore, and now you're just a douchebag. I think
it's amazing what you put up with It's amazing what you
In
put up with as a fan when he's pulling in 1,000 yards a season.
Well, that's the thing though. That's where we're questioning ourselves, going like, ugh. Like again, like Nick knows me a little better than you guys do. I know you both, but like I like hold myself like in myself to like, oh, I don't know about this. And he's like checking, I'm like, oh, I don't know about the pain on the field here, but all right, he scored like 3 touchdowns, so I was like, all right. And then
I
it's
mean,
like,
in fairness, Lawrence Taylor kicking shit and throwing stuff here. I mean, he was coked out of his mind.
that's where we're just
So, I mean,
like I would tell, like Nick will tell you right now. I still have a giant right here on my a giant Lawrence Taylor fucking that'll never change off my wall. Like he's the greatest player of all time. That's where like that's the thing. Like is that there's that weird line you'll roll with a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's the Patriot way, of course.
Well, that's why half the country said OJ didn't do it.
he didn't. His son did.
Whoa, that is one of the weirdest things right there. Because I'll throw this on a fucking wrench right now. We were all in the same place when that came down.
Yep.
All
In the
4 of us
classroom.
were in the same room.
classroom.
Do you remember that, Nick?
Gym class, 5th grade gym
Yep.
class.
Yep. Yeah, if you ever get bored, look into the
All
theory
4 of
that
us were in the
OJ's
same
son
room.
did it.
How about
His son didn't do it.
he did it?
Look into it.
The
Come on,
problem with
Look
the OJ,
into it.
the problem with the OJ
No, I've
case,
looked into it.
the only problem with the OJ case is they did a terrible job of explaining DNA evidence. DNA evidence was brand new. They couldn't make the jury understand it, and that's where the downfall was.
And also because his son did it.
And also because for some reason the fucking top prosecutors didn't understand that when a fucking glove gets wet, it shrinks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
and
he-
again, why did we put out the one guy exactly? Why did we put out the young black
should have got a prosecutor from fucking Oregon that dealt with any kind of precipitation before, other than from fucking LA.
But also, but they also used the one young black fella to go out there and do it, as opposed to Marshall Clark or any other white dude that would have been better. It's just like, no, this young black guy who don't know shit out there doing it. Like,
Clarence parents have a real good marriage.
wow. Yeah, no, that was an interesting thing right there to actually think about. Like all 4 of us were in the same place when that judge thing, when that came down. Like that was historic.
Where were you?
And think about it. We were in a Catholic elementary school.
Fucking
and they
A.
called everyone into the school gymnasium to watch this shit.
I think it's because the teachers wanted to watch it.
Fucking Mrs. Mack wanted to watch that in her fucking air. Fucking
Hey, we were
whatever the fuck
playing
she was
like-
wearing.
We were
Those
playing
stupid things.
volleyball and we had the TV in the corner or something. And then when it came on, we all ran over to it.
Yeah, it was like over towards the doors. I fucking
See,
specifically.
that's not how I remember it. I remember everyone getting called to the gymnasium.
No,
chairs
no,
being
it was
set
our
up for
class. I remember it just being our class.
All right, so
And
yeah, that's
and we
probably
went over
true.
towards we were going towards like the doors to go out, and then we sat down like under the hoop, and the thing was like right there.
Yeah, so
That's right, Nick? Or no?
and I didn't start drinking until like 14, so I remember this. My memory is really good until about 15, 16. Then it gets fuzzy. And
You
it's
said
not-
you started about 14.
whenever we started,
That's the youngest out of all of us, I think.
Yeah,
no,
right. Dude, you've been drinking all since
I was about 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that though. That was fun. I remember we all cheered, and then Mrs. Mac. I think we got in trouble for it. She was like,
Yeah, we were Mrs. Mack. She was very pissed. She had her windbreaker thing tucked into her fucking big-headed daughter.
classic. Yeah. Well, I hope they never see this.
Who the fuck's gonna fuck out of here?
Sister James is going to be really mad.
Oh my god, cracking knuckles, bro.
The voice like a rooster.
I remember I swore in class, and she fucking murdered me. And I got home, and my grandfather goes, "Where the fuck did you learn how to swear?" And I was
I
like,
remember somebody.
So my favorite sister James story.
I wasn't done.
One of the other one was it Sister Teresa died.
But he's coming in hot right here.
Yeah, and Jeff and I get called out of altar boy retirement to do
Whoa, you
altar
guys
boy
went to that?
service. This is a
This was
good
big.
8
I didn't
years
go to
since
that.
the
Holy
last.
shit, you guys went?
We got drafted back into, brought out of retirement for altar boy service.
Fuck
I
that.
don't fucking
Yeah.
remember what we have to do.
We haven't
We're
been
just
to
sitting there
church
looking
since-
at each other, and Sister James staring daggers at us.
Daggers.
I mean, bright red because we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
We hadn't
Oh
been
my
to church
God.
since 7 days.
That's funny.
Ugh.
I'm really shocked that they didn't call me and Nick back in.
Oh, well, to finish my story.
Nick goes, I wasn't done, by the way.
So he asked me where the fuck I learned how to swear, and me being me, I said, you.
Ooh.
Wham!
Oh, backhand?
I got taken off my feet that time.
Ooh.
James
Sometimes-
Knuckles.
Some tells me old Chico could just hit that one kind of, like that sound.
Yeah. He's like, he was 6'2", bro.
He's a big dude. Like, dude, when you drive us around and be like, yo, this is an intimidating motherfucker, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he drove that 12-cylinder Crown Victoria.
Yeah.
A big old blue boat.
I'm like, we're sailing down the street right now, brother.
Oh, yeah. Forget about it.
Fucking forget about it.
Forget about it. Straight out of Danny Brasco. Anyway, what else we got?
Anyways, what we got here?
Let's go down the list. I think we did the whole list. Jeff, what do you think of Pepe Le Pew?
Ooh, being canceled. Oh, I like it.
I
never
never
liked
liked the character. He like John said earlier, he is quite rapey.
A little rapey.
And the sad part is the way he talked. You hear it all the time. I mean, when I was working in the prison, every single female correctional officer was talked to in that same exact way behind their backs.
That's probably
That's,
why they were in
that's
prison.
like criminals, though, right, bro?
Yeah, but still, you hear it a lot.
Oh, we gotta
this
just.
locker
Oh,
room
come on,
talk.
Nick. I gotta hear. We gotta go to
Your sample size there is a little skewed.
Okay, we gotta go to different opinion here.
Hey! Fun fact: Ryan Leaf was at my prison.
The quarterback?
Yeah,
Holy shit!
him
Where'd
and
you
I
pull
had
that
a run.
from?
Him and I had a run.
Hold on.
I just gotta understand, how the hell does
bring
Nick-
this the fuck back to the Washington State Cougars? How did you not lead him? That played Michigan, and I think why do we not know this yet?
I think the funniest thing to come out of this whole conversation is that inmates in Canada,
No, Montana.
in Montana, were influenced by Pepe Le Pew. Like that, they've
Yeah,
all.
but you connected that.
I think
No,
we're
I think
proving
I
points
think
here,
the connection
gentlemen.
was rapey, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the way he says, like, he goes, "Well, you hear it all the time." And when I worked in the prison, that's how they would talk about the female guards. So I'm thinking, like these dudes are in their cells, like, "Oh,
Like,
It's not like
There's not a friend. Well, no, is it? Well, no, hold on, no. Little Canada, right? I mean, there's some French in Canada. You know.
yeah.
We're talking GSP stuff. That's all I know.
just the vision, just the just like having the female guards walk down the thing and Jeff's following up, and he's just hearing him go, "Oh my God, oh Shadi, come here."
That's what I was thinking of. And then, dude, to drop Ryan Leaf though.
And then Jeff's,
Ryan Leaf.
Jeff's just thinking, man, if Pepe Le Pew wasn't on Looney Tunes when they were kids, maybe their lives would have turned out different. That's what I would be thinking.
I did have a run-in with Ryan Leaf once. It was pretty funny.
What's he about 6'5"?
About it.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude. Working in the visitation area, not a very great place to work, but it's usually where the transport people go because they're during the week they're busy doing transports, but on the weekend they don't have much to do. So you work visitation, and one of the things you have to do in visitation, unfortunately, is do strip searches as the inmates come in and leave.
That's got to be fun.
It's not a highlight of the job, but this guy does not like being strip searched. He comes down every weekend for visitation. There's always problems with everybody. Whatever guard is working there, it just happened to be me that weekend. Have him start doing the strip search. He grabs.
I was gonna say, I look at Nick's face, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this ain't gonna be good.
No, because I'm just thinking, like, what, you don't like being strip searched, but you love getting the ball stripped. Come on, bro.
Well, one of the things you have to do is waistbands of pants, waistbands of boxers. You have to run your fingers over them, gloved, obviously, but make sure there's nothing concealed in there. So you tell the guys to hand you their clothes, and they hand it over. Well, he decided to throw his boxers at me. So I told him, no,
Now, this is
you're not
Ryan Leaf.
quarterback anymore. You don't get to throw shit. And
Were you standing on the stool
You
at the
said
time?
that?
He went ballistic. Oh,
You
the
said that?
warden says you're not supposed to say that to me
I didn't
anymore.
hear the joke. What was the joke? John was yelling.
You said that?
Yeah,
I
I
said
said
Jeff.
Oh,
I asked if Jeff.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Bring that
What
back,
are you
Jeff. You
talking
meant
about?
that's the joke. That's the
Well,
joke, Nick.
You can't
You
throw
throw-
that either. What?
he throws his boxers at me.
Right.
And I tell him, no, you're not allowed to throw shit anymore. You're not a quarterback. You're a prisoner.
Nick, no, hold on. Just for clarification, Nick, like who that is, Ryan Leaf. He was drafted the second pick behind Peyton Manning. Like he was gonna be like there was debate between him and Peyton Manning.
He's the biggest dud to ever be drafted. Everyone knows this.
Jeff, how tall was the stool you were standing on at the time?
No stool.
Motherfucker!
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Actually, he did that to somebody else. Ryan Leaf just fucking powered down on him. It's like
Yeah, as a reporter, right?
Yeah.
That's
until you just kneecap him and it's like, yeah, you're not really that strong, are you there, Ryan?
You can't throw that. You're not a quarterback anymore. Jeff, you're like the fucking.
Now, hold on. Did you know you actually said that though?
100% said it.
Did you get a riff for it?
No. Everybody thought it was funny. It went to the captain, then went to the warden, and they all
said you get a riff for it. All right, nice. That's good.
Everyone's a badass with a gun on their hip.
I mean, no gun on your hip in the break.
This guy, your brother's still fucking with these. Jesus Christ, man. That's funny to say, man. Give the guy his credit.
That was good. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying it's easy to say when the
He's
guy does something, he gets thrown in the hole.
He's a total dick too. It's no surprise that he got in trouble.
Yeah, if you're a cunt, then fuck him.
Yeah.
Hilarious. My dad told me this story one time where
I like it. Say it. I love that you're laughing already. Better go with it.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Who's the guy that got arrested in Saratoga? He was on not Happy Days. He was on the Partridge Family. Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah, Bonaducci.
Bonaducci. Yep, you got it.
This was. I actually read the article too. Because my dad showed it to me. It's hilarious. So Danny Bonaducci got arrested. I think at the casino out there for whatever. Just found out because he was drunk. And the fucking CO's name was Tom Jones. So
did he roll with it?
So he kept, and because he was drunk, he kept he kept roasting him and kept going, "What's new, pussycat? Whoa, 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 whoa."
That's pretty funny. All right, that's pretty good.
You can't throw that. You're not a quarterback anymore, but you couldn't throw then either. I would have dropped that. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Boom, roasted. Roasted Ryan Leaf. Oh, you got a strong name there, buddy. Think you're Leif Erikson? You're not. Boom, roasted. Come on, give me. Come on,
I thought you were going to keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know when you were stopping there, guy. I thought you were going to have some AEW shit going on behind you.
You think you're Leif Garrison? You ain't no wrestler. Boom, roasted.
Roll on into the game, bro.
Who's the Viking? Eric the Red? Leif Erikson?
Leif Erikson.
Oh, I was right. Leif Erikson was a Viking. He'll never be a Viking.
Oh, I see this going on. Well, we should keep recording. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we can keep going. That's funny. And you know what? You know it's a true story because Jeff has zero creative talent. So he's definitely
that's very true.
He's like a very straightforward person. There's no.
If I say it didn't happen.
No, that's what I'm saying. There was no doubt in my mind that shit happened. Jeff said that to fucking Ryan Leaf, and I'm telling that story, by the way.
That's fantastic. Yeah, let's share that. Let's go down this yellow brick road. Any other fun prison stories? How long? First of all, how long were you a CO?
Like from my own or just in general?
No, Jeff was a CO in
5 years.
You were CO for 5 years.
5 years.
Wow. When did you take the magic mushroom and grow up?
He didn't.
No, Jeff. Can I ask you a question? Now, this is on the border or just like in Canada or what's?
It's on the border. It's about 30 miles south of the Canadian border.
Cool.
So
because when I think tough criminals, I think
here in upstate New York, a lot of people know fucking most of the people around here in the capital region are fucking COs. So yeah,
we had 200 federal inmates. We were max security, so we had 700 state.
Dope.
We were seven.
You were there. How was it max security?
What up?
Wow, dude. Now, when you guys get together, do you just deck each other at one time? Just come up like my cousin Vinny style? Like next time you see him and just fucking off his feet, or
well, the old story is how many COs does it take to make for a how many COs does it take for a inmate to trip down the stairs or to fall down the stairs?
I was gonna say, I'll just wait on that one.
I'm fucking this up. I'm fucking this up.
I was waiting for the rim shot.
Yeah, I can't
Anybody,
remember.
anybody take that one? Come
I
on.
can't even remember the fucking joke about COs.
It's the head injury. It's fucking with me.
And Matt's waiting for a rim shot, so I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, he did have all
Yeah,
the
five years.
boys over for some wrestling. That's nice.
Hello.
Yeah, 5 years, 900 inmates, 700 state, and 200 feds.
Any other fun stories?
Oh man, there's a million of them.
Give me one.
We had one guy because he didn't get his French toast in the morning.
You
He decided to climb. He decided to climb all the bars in the pod, and then basically hang up out by the roof. Just disrupted the whole day. So we shot him with the pepper ball.
I like that. All right, that
That was
works.
fun. That was fun.
There's nobody like shitting in the cellar or nothing. Nobody's shitting anywhere.
Oh yeah, there's you got your cell warriors that'll shit and
Yeah, that's kind of
War
crazy. I think that's where Nick was going.
yeah they'll go war paint style with it.
Wait, for
I'm sorry,
real?
you say war paint?
Yeah, it's their war paint.
Nick,
They'll
Nick,
shit
Nick,
and
you're this war paint.
they'll literally paint it on themselves because I was
Like
on
shit?
I was on the special operations
Ooh.
team. You're on the special operations team. Is your job is to if there's an inmate who refuses to come out, it's your job. You're a 5-man team. You go in there and you get him out. Well, this guy figures, oh, these guys aren't going to want to come in here if I just shit and cover myself in it.
Oh, fucking hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tip out. I
What
mean,
worked for me?
And one of the worst decisions they made was part of the Americans with Disabilities Act. You have to have in the segregation unit, you have to have one that's equipped for people that are handicapped. So that means putting metal bars next to the toilet to allow them to grab on and help themselves get up.
Now, was that a
Well,
good
this-
or a bad idea for somebody?
It's a bad idea because this guy ripped it off the wall and started to refuse to come out of his cell. All right, well, you only have a small window into these cells to be able to see what these guys are up to. And he had the big metal bar where we couldn't see it. So it's time to go in. We all get dressed up in our gear, and it's time to go in. The guy in front has the shield. And as soon as we pop the door to go in, this guy just starts raining down with the metal bar, breaks the shield. We're able to get the close shut again to kind of reset. So we just blasted the hell out of him with the pepper ball and the CS gas.
Nice. So is that when? Is that,
time to go.
so that's when you shot him in the ass, or is that a different guy that you caught him in the ass with the?
It's a different guy, but the fun thing with pepper ball is any weapon system you use inside of the prison, you have designated areas that you're allowed to hit. With the pepper ball, anything
So like
goes.
you aiming?
Anything goes with pepper ball. So your
boy.
target is generally about the groin.
Ah,
These guys go down very hard. They
well,
lose
yeah,
all
they're
will
not
to fight.
mutants.
you bunch of pussies shoot people in the balls.
Oh, like you're gonna take one, Nick.
Hey, I've been shot with it before. You got to get shot with it. If you're going to shoot it, you got to get shot too.
Whoa! All right,
They,
flag and
they
play.
shoot you in the balls?
No. You get it
Exactly, Nick. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You get it in the back. That's what she said. So how many like weddings were you part of? Or did you officiate any?
in the back. Wedding.
Yeah, don't
Prison
Oh,
weddings.
okay. Oh, no. there was like only 2 when I was there.
No, you act like it's like I'm like, yeah, Jeff, how many fucking weddings did you go to outside of the prison? Well, my cousin Brittany got married. I brought my, come on, man. We're talking
No,
about
there's only 2 while I was there.
hardcore prison sex, stuff like that. These types of things. So
Yeah, there's only 2 weddings while I was there.
So there's one story out of a million. We only have a couple more left. Give us one more. What's like the funniest thing an inmate has ever done? Like it doesn't have to be violent.
Funniest thing an inmate has ever done?
It's obviously not the joke about falling down the stairs.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, bro. That was.
The inmates really, they're not really there having a good time. They're not really joking
Wonder
around.
why.
At least not with the COs. I mean, that's the difference between a prison and a jail. In prison, you've got inmates. In jail, you just have offenders. They don't have that code. Once you get into a prison environment, you get into the inmate code where you're not supposed to draw attention. You're not supposed to do things that are going to punish because if one person does something and they don't cop up to it, the entire pod has punishments, and that's 80 inmates. So imagine being the guy that's going to cause the trouble and causing 80 inmates to get locked down for 3 days.
I feel like I'm in third grade again.
Well, if you asked me in third grade if Jeff O'Connell would be a CO, I would not be.
He just scared the shit out of me.
How many? Did you see any murders? You're allowed
Well, no, there was a couple of attempted, but nobody. Just a
How
couple.
can you say, Nick? You can't
throat
say.
slashes.
What? I can say whatever the fuck I want. I'm not. Who's going to cancel me? Jeff's like half of our listener population. He's on the show now.
Did you see any murders?
Legitimate question. I've never been to prison. Can you ask a question, smarty pants?
Yeah, a couple throat slashings, a couple of CO assaults, but nothing
Jesus,
too.
that was awful
serious.
casual.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's awesome.
This is what scares me. Jeff has
Yeah, no shit.
lost his sense of humor.
Hey, you're a little too like just.
Just a couple throat slashes.
Couple throat slashes. I'm over here like,
just-
all right, yeah.
You get desensitized to it very quickly.
I'm going in my head. I'm going, oh, fucking fourth grade. All right. Oh, fucking Christ.
Man, we were hanging out with this fucking loose cannon this whole time. Up with this psycho. That's probably me and Matt's fault because we used to beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you guys hate the
Probably has
Giants, so
something to it.
fuck off.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, that's the psychiatry of it all, isn't it? We picked on Jeff. Now he's the boss. Now he fucking runs the show, and now we're scared of him.
Yeah,
How-
I'd love to show
how
you
long
guys some of the physical restraint techniques.
Yeah, I
Is that
did
now?
jiu-jitsu for a while.
I'll have to show you guys when I see you again some of the physical restraint techniques. They're quite
You're
useful.
welcome to come on that with me. I love a lot
Yeah,
of those
maybe
guys.
not you, John. Maybe
Name
not
the
you, John.
time, Jeffrey. Name the time.
John's 12 years of Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I know a lot of those guys.
For you.
Just don't bring any pepper balls.
Yeah, right? Like,
Well, you have to let him use his full arsenal, right?
fuck me up, dude. I ain't getting in. No, I got nothing but love and respect.
Yeah, those pepper balls hurt. They hit 7 times harder than a paintball.
Yeah, and I don't want to take one of the balls either. Like Nick said, he was real late too. Fuck that noise.
Fingers in the toes are worse.
Fingers in the toes. There's a lot of.
There's a lot of bone.
There is.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not interested in any of that.
Neither am I. I actually don't enjoy pain.
Well, I'm glad you're retired now because that sounds like not a place you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. Like, I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, to go through it, like, I'm sure, like, that was like an experience. Like, go through and like to have the mindset of something like that is really cool, dude. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
not cool, but like, you know, to like just see that kind of different stuff of that. I'm sure myself, your brother, and Nick has really never seen. Like, I'm sure I've seen.
You sit there. You do in the training, and they show all the surveillance videos from prisons pretty much around the country because this was a private prison, so it's a for-profit prison, but they had 35 prisons spread across the U.S. So you're watching surveillance videos of places down in Texas where it's hardcore inmates down there, and they're just slashing the shit out of each other, and you're just watching it, and you're like, shit, this could. I mean, it's fucking Podunk, Montana, but still, you know that something like that could happen at any time. And then we were down in Oklahoma doing the special operations training, and you're watching videos of these riots that have happened throughout the years where COs are just getting murdered and everything's happening. And you know, at any point, as part of the special operations team, if a riot breaks out, they call you. You have 24 hours to get down there and get ready to go in there and start taking the place back. So it's kind of humbling to see all the shit that can happen when you're sitting at home and you're just at your house and you're not even thinking about what's happening inside of these prisons. But you see every day it's just nonstop violence for the most part.
And that's the thing. How do you deal with something like that? Because, you know, with my job, if I'm having a bad day, I go run Porky Pig through a bandsaw and I feel a lot better. What the hell do you do?
Great
There's not
question,
much
Matt. I'm glad you're asking that, Matt. See your brother. I want to hear this.
The nice thing was being part of the special operations team. There's 10 of us. You have those people that know exactly what is happening. Most of the people that work at that prison, let's face it, they probably don't belong being there. If anything ever went down, we knew the next day half the people would not show up for work. And that happened. We had an officer get assaulted. We lost a quarter of our staff the next day because they didn't show up for work because it became real for them. When you go through all this training, it becomes muscle memory. I would sit there when I'm working and I have an inmate coming up to me to ask me a question. I'm running through my head 3 different scenarios. If this guy does this, this is what I do. If he does this, this is what I do. If he does this, this is what I do. So I'm prepared for whatever that guy's going to throw at me. And I'm already 1 step ahead because I'm expecting it to happen. Whereas most of the people, they're not having that mindset. So if something happens to them, it happens. One guy he left his radio. Face it, in the prison, you've got your pepper spray and you got your radio. Your radio is the only way you can call for help. You hit the panic button and everybody comes running. But he left it on the table and walked away. One inmate didn't want to be in general population. He wanted to be in segregation because he had fears for his life. He saw that guy walk away. He became complacent. He didn't have his radio, so he got assaulted right then and there. Luckily, another inmate picked up his radio and hit the panic button for him. But if that hadn't happened, just because that guy got complacent and wasn't looking, look at what could happen. So the big thing is just having that support. You have your team members. If something goes wrong, you can lean on them and know that you're not going to get judged.
So, for instance, like anything, like in general, like through you guys saying to like the teams, through like military, through anything, just in general, like having people on your team that you can trust, right? Like this is a squad I know that I can roll with, and I'll roll with into anything essentially, right? Knowing this guy won't get, I have this training, right? Is like kind of like he won't get complacent because if like that guy leaves his radio, it can leave like a link to you guys being open and stuff like that. Like it's kind of like you guys have trained together and be in that kind of same situation.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's kind of what that person's doing without even having to communicate with them.
Right.
You know what their responsibilities are. You know what you're doing. Because another thing I did was transports. You've got 12 inmates in the back of a van, and there's only 2 of you. You could have anything happen while you're out on the road. We're driving 6 hours one way, 6 hours back. Anything could happen on that road. So you have to be able to trust your partner. I mean, we're armed at the time. We've got a pistol, we've got a shotgun, but you've only got 18 rounds in the revolver, and you only got 10 rounds with the shotgun. If something were to happen, you need to know that person's not going to take off running.
We've all seen The Fugitive.
Jesus Christ. This guy just comes in hot on you, just kneecaps you.
Well, this got intense all of a sudden. Real intense. Well, we're nothing if we're not a schizophrenic podcast because we're literally
nothing. Literally, imagine if Big T was on this.
Well, to bring it full circle, since we started with the wrestling, did you know that the guy that The Fugitive was based off of, after his conviction got overturned, went into pro wrestling and invented the mandible claw that Mankind uses as finisher?
Is that real?
Yes, 100% real. Dr. Alan Shepard, look it up.
Look it up. We're just gonna trust you on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust you. I'm not gonna look that up.
All right. Well, that was 2 hours of all over the fucking place. But hey,
Yeah, fucking A.
that's what we're all about. So I guess anyone want to say anything on the weekly goodbye? I know Big T is usually our motivational speaker, but fuck it. All right.
I don't need that.
Come back next week.
We're getting backstage. I'll talk to you boys.
We're gonna go backstage. Let's hit that music. Thanks for tuning in. I think we had 5 people tonight.
Only record.